What's up, everybody? It's HBarrels23, and welcome back to another live stream. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, because we're internationally known. Let's go. What's up, Juicy Tammy? Yo, Jay, drummer. Oh, Juicy. Oh. Well, if you're still here, my condolences. It's gonna be hard. Sorry to hear that. Getting a little emotional thinking about it right now. But just stay strong. Tammy! Yeah, we're gonna be watching it. Bro, just watching Stranger Things new trailer. Yeah, I'm excited for it too. Coffee talk. Oh yeah. Yo, Symphony, how you doing? How's everything? Condolences to Juicy. Her mom passed away. Condolences. All right. Let's see what's going on.
Subset of my overall practice, 50%
All right.
of trauma. The answer is yes. In terms of in the name of the title of the article,
Today is
the
her
answer
birthday.
is no.
You've
She's
never
getting
written any
big.
books
So
specifically
they
on
do get
IPV?
big.
I've
Really,
never
really
written any
big.
books on IPV, although
Happy birthday.
temporomandibular disease, okay, in terms of psychiatric issues, does have a higher frequency in those patients who have suffered from trauma, including intimate partner violence.
Ooh.
And I am part of that book.
Okay. Temporal mandibular disease deals with problems with the jaw.
Is that a question, sir?
What is temporal
So
mandibular?
temporomandibular disease is a problem with oral issues, yeah, but there are many patients who complain of oral issues where the oral surgeon cannot find a reason for it, and the reason why they can't is because people who have suffered from trauma and intimate partner violence are prone to increased sensitivity of somatic sensations, which can manifest in temporomandibular disease. Thank you, I appreciate that. Nice plug for my book, too, thank you.
Nice plug.
There we go.
Aw. Tell her there's no need to
You,
blush.
you haven't written any chapters.
10 years
of
old
any
is big.
books specifically about
Soon she'll be a
IPV.
teenager.
Again,
The real craziness will start happening.
I've written 2 articles on that, and I've written parts of chapters. And dissociative identity disorder, I should add, where I did write a chapter on, is completely based on trauma and intimate partner violence.
Hold on, I'm just going to lower the
Right.
screen.
I'm not asking you about trauma because you want to talk about trauma. I'm asking you about IPV specifically.
I will reiterate again, you cannot separate intimate partner violence and say that is a separate rubric aside from trauma. Trauma is overall, intimate partner violence is part of trauma, and the answer to the question is any individual who suffers from a dissociative disorder, which I am the author of a chapter of.
Ask her what kind of car
suffers
she
from
gonna get.
trauma, whether it be at the hands of childhood or it be at the hands of an intimate partner.
Right, but you've already testified that half your practice is trauma and a subset of that practice is IPV, correct?
Which is actually I treat the national average of patients. About 20% of patients suffer from it, and that's about my practice number.
What the hell's an IPV?
Except you're discounting the fact that half your practice is not trauma at all. So 10% of your practice is IPV.
I don't know if the numbers add up exactly like that.
I'm just using
but
yours.
I don't know if I'm doing, I don't know if those numbers add up like that, because I'm not sure
respect
if that's the case. If you take
respect
25%,
it.
then maybe 12.5% of my practice, that's being rather specific. So again, a significant number of my patients have suffered from intimate partner violence. I see it on a daily basis, and I'm not sure exactly why I'm getting asked the same question again.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
You listed 60 references to articles. I guess you said 80 now, and publications. And
I said around, sorry, I said around 80. I said around 80.
60, 80, whatever it is, right?
No, 60
Ooh,
and 80
that's
is
a nice
not
car.
If you go to the PubMed, actually, you can go to PubMed right now and Google, not Google, put PubMed Spiegel DR, and you'll find that number is 72 with 2 waiting to be impressed. 1 submitted, so that'd be 75. So I said around 80. So again, what's on my CV is not necessarily the most updated version, because I still publish since the CV's been given to you, sir.
Right. And not one of the 72, 80 articles has IPV in the title, right?
Correct. Not one of them has IPV. It does have trauma, but not IPV.
Right. And you've never presented on the topic of IPV specifically.
As a function of trauma and as a function of somatic illness, again, I would say to you that it's part and parcel of these illnesses. So the answer is yes, I have. Okay.
Right.
The answer is yes, I have.
And IPV doesn't appear in your CV at all.
If you say it's not in my CV, I will believe you.
Okay.
There's a lot of things that are not in my CV that I do. So
Got
And you're
him.
not associated with any professional literature on IPV.
I'm sorry. Repeat the question, sir.
Is there any professional literature that you've contributed to relative to IPV specifically as opposed to trauma generally?
Got him.
The answer to the question again, sir, is that you cannot separate this artificial separation you're trying to do between trauma and intimate partner violence. It is part and parcel of trauma. We don't thread it like that.
Your Honor, plaintiff would accept this witness as an expert on general psychiatry, and with respect to the drug usage issues that Ms. Bredehoff referenced, but not with respect to IPV.
All right, over objection, he's entered as an expert as stated on the record. All right, you may continue. Thank you.
Very much, Your Honor. Dr. Spiegel,
My man's
at our request, what
got
have you
IPV in his
reviewed
mouth.
in this case? And just go ahead and give me
So
a chance to give the jury more
it's
general.
a lengthy review, but court filings, psychological testing that was done on Ms. Heard by both Dr. Hughes and Dr. Curry, other physicians' medical records, other physicians,
Smitty,
Dr. Kipper,
all you got to do is get up to 20,000.
counsel,
and we're going to do the deal.
therapists,
20,000.
parties and psychiatrists that they went to, text messages, depositions, snippets of the UK trial, and I'm sure pictures of physical injuries, so I've seen a lot.
What, if anything, have you seen in terms of emails, audios, videos? things-
Yes, so I've seen videos of Mr. Depp. I think the video was showing Ray of Mr. Depp
Banging cabinets.
slamming cupboards and
Oh my God.
breaking glass and yelling at Miss Heard while having a wine glass in his with wine in his hands. I've seen videos of destruction of property in the house.
Okay. And what, if any, review have you conducted of the deposition and testimony of Mr. Depp's hired witness, Dr. Curry?
Objection.
Sure.
Objection. Yo, him doing that with his mouth? My man got cotton mouth. Either he snorted something. What do you mean? Do you not have give turn on with Streamlabs? What do you mean? Is that a thing? Can you give somebody? I have to look into that. Well, you know, because that would be pretty cool. That would be pretty good. Oh. See, I didn't know that. Dude, I haven't been on that. There's a lot of things that I gotta do. I think I might take tomorrow off and focus on some things that need to be implemented on the channel. Because little known to fact, I might be making a new YouTube channel. I might be making a new YouTube channel, but it has to do more. It's not video game or entertainment wise, but it has to do with basically our society and where we're going to, especially the dating world. Like, I feel, honestly, when it comes up to, because my nephew's starting out and he just got a job and stuff like that. Nice. I feel like he's gonna have a hard time. Like, he's gonna have a hard time, but it's gonna have a comedic feel to it, but it's gonna be like facts. You know? It's gonna be facts about it, because there's a lot of stuff going on, especially for young men, that they gotta deal with, and they don't really have to deal with it. It's basically just gonna give the option to say, listen, you could deal with it or you could deal without it. Because there's a lot of stuff going on, and you know, it's very hurtful. Very hurtful to men. It's very, like, you know, women get hurt all the time, and it's hurtful. It's like, stop, you know, it's basically both people just need to love each other. I think that's where the dynamic has changed. Love has become an option, not a choice anymore. It became an option. Like, whatever. Like, when you go into a relationship, there's no love. There's no let's work together. There's give me my way or get out.
Do you remember my question? Did you review the
I reviewed
deposition and testimony of Dr. Curry?
Dr.
Curry.
Yes, I reviewed I'm sorry. Yes, so I reviewed testimony of Dr. Curry. I reviewed Dr. Curry's reports. I reviewed Dr. Curry's testimony.
Okay, and what if, did you review the deposition and trial testimony of Dr. Hughes?
Yes.
Objection, Your Honor, beyond the scope of the disclosure.
I'll allow that.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Overruled.
Did you interview Mr. Depp?
No, I did not.
Did you request?
I haven't gotten to my final
Twice,
form yet.
and both times, Mr. Depp and his lawyers refused.
Doc Brown.
Dr. Spiegel, I'm
This
going
guy's
to
Doc
ask
Brown.
you some questions in this case respecting your opinions and the opinions you have formed and the bases for them. And I'm going to ask you to provide me with, in a reasonable degree of medical probability or certainty. Can you do
It's
that?
crazy how fast
Yes.
people give up.
Okay. On what were you requested to analyze and opine in this case?
So it's fourfold. One, I was asked to opine about the risk factors that are associated with intimate partner violence and behaviors that are shown, risk factors that are shown in intimate partner violence to be consistent with behaviors that Mr. Depp has demonstrated. Two, I've been asked to opine about the acute effects on alcohol and substance use, and I mentioned that including mood, behavior, cognition, functional impairment. Three, talking about the psychological profile, if you would, of, is there a question? I'm sorry. Oh.
No.
Okay. Of psychological and medical sequelae.
My man, that looked it so scripted. That looked it so scripted right there. He said, waiting for it, like,
Of patients who have suffered intimate partner violence and perpetrated intimate partner violence, and whether or not Mr. Depp's behavior is consistent with that. And lastly, about alcohol and other substance use disorders, their diagnostic criteria, their medical and psychological effects, psychiatric effects, their cognitive effects, and their functional effects. And I think I would like to just just go with the jury one other thing. When we talk about, when psychiatry talks about substance use disorders, it's imperative to understand we're not talking about someone who rarely uses and happens to have a bad night. We're not talking about someone who
about to hit him with the
uses on a
objection.
weekly basis and has a bad night. We're talking about repetitive patterns of behavior that meet a list of 11 criteria that can be deemed mild, moderate, or severe. Because I think people get confused when they hear the word substance abuse, that they think of, oh, I may have used this because I used it twice. There is a whole criteria of behavior and sequelae and consequences that go with a substance use disorder. I'm not just talking about someone who will occasionally smoke a joint or smokes a joint or snorts occasionally coke, okay, or has alcohol on weekends. So I really need to reiterate that, because I think when you look at psychiatric behavior, we tend to look, people look online and say, my gosh, I have all 7 of these, right? And they're reading it not quite the way the psychiatric literature is supposed to go. So please, when I'm talking about this, I need you to understand, one, that's what's going on. As I told you about intimate partner violence, it's horrible that anyone would strike anyone, okay? But again, we're talking about repetitive behaviors for means
This
of
guy
control.
is literally just
So
continuously
that's
talking.
real important to understand when you're moving forward. And I may
You ever hear somebody who talks so much because they're lying? That's what it sounds like to me. Like he's continuously talking and re-engaging in the same subject consistently.
say occasionally substance abuse, but what I'm referring to is substance
Objection
use.
beyond the scope of the question.
I don't,
Sustained. Next question.
okay. Dr. Spiegel,
My man's
could you
going in,
please
bro.
just summarize for the
Thank
jury
you.
the conclusions
you.
you came to with your opinions, and then we'll take you through the specifics.
So in my opinion, based on a review of the evidence, based on my clinical experience, based on my publishing experience, based on my teaching experience, that Mr. Depp has behaviors that are consistent with both someone who has a substance use disorder as well as consistent behaviors for someone who's a perpetrator of intimate partner violence.
Thank you. I'm going to start with the impact of drug and alcohol abuse over time. First of all, based upon your review of the record evidence, what type of drugs has Mr. Depp used?
So Mr. Depp, and I'm talking about use, we're talking about a substance use disorder here. We're not just talking about use, okay? So we are talking about alcohol. We are talking about amphetamines. We are talking about marijuana. We are talking about
so what happened?
cocaine. We are talking about LSD. We are talking about ecstasy. We are talking about opiates. We are talking about prescription benzodiazepines. And we'll get into a separate thing about the abusability of Seroquel and or gabapentin in Iran. And we are talking about much of the time concurrent use, meaning simultaneously.
In your practice, do some patients suggest to you that drugs and alcohol actually help them?
So I think it's patients who lack insight or are in the very early stages of recognizing they have a quote unquote problem will sometimes actually say that they have this medication actually calms me down. This medication makes me feel better. And in actuality, they may not acutely feel anything, but chronic and continual use will take its toll on the brain. So the answer is
No, I'm working
yes,
today.
but
I'm off
again,
tomorrow, actually.
People who have substance use disorders have lack of insight and a lack of judgment about what's going on. They're very poor moderators of their own behavior.
That's what I say. I might
Has
be
Mr. Depp
working on some stuff
suggested,
tomorrow.
based on your review of the record evidence, that alcohol and drugs actually help him?
Yes, in review of the evidence, he has suggested that alcohol, Xanax, I'm in the list of medications, do help. Although I will also tell you on review of the evidence that there were at least 2 times I can remember that Mr. Depp was referring to at least short-lived periods of sobriety, and I cannot exactly tell you what that included. That both times he said that he functioned better and that he recognized that alcohol and drugs was at the root of his problems.
I think I have to set it up.
Now, there's been testimony that Mr. Depp is quite charming, both off and on the drugs and the alcohol. What is your answer to that?
So, again, let me put one thing clear.
Once I find out
I am
like
not here to
how to do it,
accuse Mr.
then
Depp's acting skills or his persona.
so why the new
He
channel?
has way greater skills than I do in that. What I'm here today is talk about how
That's a good question.
drugs and alcohol affect what we all have in common. We're all human beings.
The reason for a new channel is because I want to do it like either twice a week or once a week, and it's just gonna be different. It's not gonna be no green screen, no anything. It's just gonna be different. It's like a whole different overhaul, just different. Because I love this channel, and this is my baby, and this is where I started. This is the gaming channel, this is the entertainment channel, this is the internet world champion and Age of Burials 23 collide together. Just two different individuals, two different entities. If you guys already know, I have like 17 different personalities, and all of them are crazy. But that one is just gonna be about, particularly here, this section, and basically like that.
We can all only get so much, take so much when something is going to happen. And that's what I see every day in the emergency room, on the consult service, on inpatient psychiatry. Bad things happen, not because of anything special, except we're all human beings, and our brains, substance of abuse, are not titrated, they're not regulated by the FDA. We don't know what we're getting. We don't know how much
I'm
we're
working
getting.
on it.
There is no control
I'm working
over
on
what
it.
makes it to our brain. So it is not the actor. It is not the persona, okay? It is a person just like the rest of us who are human beings who will have these effects, and that's what we all share in common. Everyone in this courtroom shares that in common.
When Mr. Depp was in his relationship with Amber Heard, was he a polysubstance abuser?
Was he in what substance abuse?
Polysubstance
Yes.
abuser? Can you explain to
Leaving
the jury
Your Honor.
what that is?
Overruled.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, so polysubstance abuse is the use of three or more substances. And I answer, like I said, concurrently, he was. Even while I was getting ready for rehab on the island, he was. So, yes, he did engage in that.
Did Mr. Depp's drug and alcohol abuse affect him cognitively?
Yes. So, if nothing else to look at, Dr. Blaustein, psychiatrist at Valley, Mr. Depp, did a mini mental state exam on him. And as part of that mini mental state examination, you're asked to
Alfredo with the $4.99 super chat. Fuck this guy. Donation.
And in the meanwhile, you're getting other types of testing for attention and concentration. And
His message says,
visual, and language.
can I get
So
a-
other things that are being tested?
Oh yeah, daddy. What?
Mr. Depp was unable to recall any of them.
Thank you for the super chat donation. It makes the stream bigger and better every time.
For a 50-ish year old male.
Ollie Aquaman!
Generally speaking, that age group should be remembering two.
I don't know who this guy is, to
of
be
those
honest.
words. One, I do know that his lines were also fed to him by earpiece. Again, affecting memory. I did see in video deposition about having to have questions. I don't want to say repeat as much as completely forgotten. So the answer is yes. And you know, any one of us who use alcohol and cocaine to that level of degree, and I'm talking about a severe level of substance use disorder, are going to have effects. It is inescapable.
Alfredo, thank you for the super chat, man.
Because we all have brains that are malaffected by extensive substance use.
Oh, we calling you
Potential
daddy now?
substance
No,
class,
we're not
but
calling me
certainly
daddy.
all I hear is extensive.
What, if any,
More like
anything
Uncle
did you-
Barrios.
Did you observe from the record evidence about Mr. Depp having difficulty focusing, his attention span, processing, whether he could function as an actor?
So,
Objection compound.
Compound is only if it's
Overruled.
Thank you.
so again, in terms of the acting part, we do know that he needed his lines fed to him for movies. Part of that could have been also due to, and I don't know which movie, and please forgive me about that, that he actually confessed he did a movie entirely wasted. So I imagine it would be harder to do that. Additionally, like I said, when I looked at deposition, you can tell that the processing speed was down. His thinking rate was down. If your thinking rate is down, and I'm not talking about, again, I'm getting older, I'm probably not as sharp as I was at 25, okay? But I'm talking about so slow that when we're trying to move on to other questions, we're still trying to answer the original data that's presented to us. So attention span is very much impaired. And if your attention span is impaired, your memory is going to be impaired. It is inescapable that that's going to happen. So all that comes into play there. And that's what I witnessed in the
Oh my God.
video deposition. Fortunately for Mr. Depp, I do see that during this trial, his cognition has improved somewhat, which will happen if you are sober. So I commend him on that. But again, I'm specifically referencing
really?
the time with Ms. Heard's and Mr. Depp's relationship. So we're talking about that.
What, if any, observations from the record evidence did you have about Mr. Depp having alcoholic blackouts or foggy mind?
Again, there were reported times where he would be essentially
Oh my
quote-unquote,
God.
passed out drunk. You saw pictures of him passed out drunk and not being able to remember what he did, which is, again, if you look at the record evidence, you will see that, and this is linking intimate partner violence and substance uses together. I know we're going to get to that.
Not
which
only
is
that.
Basically, if you have blackouts and you're using alcohol or using cocaine, it's going to be near impossible
Yo,
to remember
Chris, what's good,
what
my
happened the night
friend?
before. I don't think I'm the first person that's ever told you that alcohol can cause blackouts. And basically, alcohol decreases a brain chemical, glutamate, which is involved in memory formation. If it blocks that to an extensive degree, the individual cannot remember what happened because they didn't have enough time for their brain to process the memory. You need this brain chemical. So,
Who
does
is
alcohol
this
blackouts
guy?
happen every time? No, of course not. But are they a complication of a use disorder? Absolutely yes. And there was record evidence of that.
Dr. Spiegel, you said at one point alcohol and cocaine.
I hate when they do this. They say there's records of that. Okay, bring out the records. Let's see the records. Honestly, let's see the records. If we could see the records, then we'll give you the benefit of the doubt of that statement. But then when they turn around and they go, okay, do you have the documents? No, not on me. I gotta go check in Wizard of Oz land and see if the witch got the paperwork. Like, no, dude.
Is it
No.
possible to have blackouts with alcohol and different types of substances?
Yes. So my clinical experience, and I'll date it back within the last month, we had a patient who was using both, especially cocaine, and she had these kind of stroke-like lesions around the brain center known as the hippocampus, which is involved in
If
memory
Johnny Depp was
formation.
so wasted,
So
Objection
combined-
relevance.
he became one of the greatest actors. Shit, I'll be wasted all the
Combining
time.
two substances together increases the likelihood, even if you don't get what is a major stroke. And again, we think of a major stroke as someone who has speech difficulties and movement difficulties. There's a lot of different types of stroke that can just affect cognition. They don't necessarily have to have severe movement deficits or severe language deficits. They can solely affect you in terms of your cognitive symptoms, and actually known as a vascular neurocognitive disorder. So you need to understand, and that's part of the psychiatric diagnosis. You need to understand that you can have these insults, these lesions, these strokes, without demonstrating physical features. And at a minimal, we know that he was using both substances concurrently, and at a minimal, we know he had cognitive issues that we talked about. or at least had some of them.
Thank you, Dr. Spiegel. What, if any, correlation is there
Dr.
between domestic
Spiegel.
abuse, heavy alcohol abuse, and cognitive disorders?
So, the risk factors, if you would, for intimate partner violence, okay? And there are probably many of them. I don't have time to go over all of them, but the ones in particular, characters in particular, are one, having someone in the relationship who is jealous or suspicious. Two, having someone who has a higher than average acceptance of violence ideations. Three, someone who has rapid and extreme mood shifts. Four, someone who has limited self-control. One of the roles of cognition, one of the roles of our brain, is to prevent inappropriate behaviors and acting out on thoughts. We all get angry at people. That's human. We all get angry at people. We all think things about people. The difference is when our brains are intact and working well, most of us don't act them out, okay? Most of us do not act them out. So that's because your frontal lobe and other parts of the brain are involved in making sure these negative thoughts don't get acted on, okay? So when you have the effects of alcohol acutely, it causes disinhibition, which means you are, by definition, losing control and having rapid mood swings. Two, you are affecting parts of the brain that are involved in what we call social processing cues. So you no longer can interpret what's in front of you that is, I would say, right or wrong, or what I
I'm
should
trying to find out who the hell Dr. Spiegel is.
So we act on them, even though sober, and I've seen it with Mr. Depp's record evidence, I've seen it clinically. Sober, we can contain that. We can contain that. But when you have these mixtures together, knowing, by the way, that about 40 up to 60% of intimate partner violence is done under the influence of alcohol and or substance use disorders, okay? Knowing that treating it gets it better, improves, I'm not saying removes it, but improves it. Hearing from Mr. Depp's own text to Dr. Kipper that he was better with that things are going better, will show you
Who the hell is Dr.
given
Spiegel?
those confluence of factors,
I think it's
given them all lining up, the risk factors,
trying to find out who that is.
combined with something that when any of us use to a certain amount, if we're novice at it, it'll be a lot less. If we're more experienced and have more tolerance and dependence, it's going to take a lot more. But inevitably, will make us disinhibited and will make us act out. And acting out could be done in a lot of different ways in intimate partner violence, okay? With also remembering, control is the end game of intimate partner violence. So that's how they basically interact in a nutshell.
Ms. Butterhoff, I assume you have,
I have quite a bit more.
let's go ahead and take our morning recess. Ladies and gentlemen, just do not discuss the case and don't do any outside research. We'll be back with you
Oh, I'm sorry.
in 15 minutes.
Sorry, I
We're
talked
just
too
taking a
much.
break. No, we're just taking a break.
This guy is weird. Oh, this is the final week, huh?
All right, let's just take a break till 11 then, and we'll come back at 11, okay?
Thank you.
It's like a 15-minute break. Dr. Spiegel. What is a Dr. Spiegel? So I'm guessing that's damn, they got a whole 20 minutes. So I'm guessing, yeah. Yo, BBQ, what up, BBQ? Dr. Spiegel might be either Amber Heard's psychiatrist or Johnny Depp's psychiatrist. I'm not sure. One of the two. Which one is it? I have no idea. The clock is 5 minutes slow. That thing said 20 minutes. Oh, Johnny Depp's team. You see? Oh! That's what Blood Hunt's all about. Hmm. He made a what? What the heck? Ugh. God, this is mad loud. Listen. Let me tell you something. Guys do not give a shit about a fupa. I'm gonna tell you dead honest. Yo, what's going on, Dwalt? I'm gonna tell you dead honest. Nobody cares about that shit. A guy does not care at all. Yo, I definitely gotta unlock this gun. I respect it. You're trying to find a way to get out. Well, you can always just say no. Okay, what's the build? Tell me the build. I fucking hate the bar. But we're gonna try it out. Hold on, let me back out real quick. You know what's funny part? I think I gotta level that thing up. Damn, I really gave up on this gun. It's at level 52. I really gave up on this gun. All right. Look at his last video. All right, let me see. Let's go, Timmy. Let's go to Timmy. All right, I'm looking. Hold on, I'm looking. Okay, I don't have. I have this one. Okay, it's locked on already. Okay. The XL. Okay. Recoil booster. Okay. We gotta remember he plays on PC. So that's not gonna work. We're gonna have to use that one for now. Is it the 50? Or the 6? I think it's the 6. I don't have the 6 yet. Alright. So we gotta level this gun up. Okay, we're gonna use this one. Okay. LinkedIn, polymer grip. Fully loaded. Alright, let's see. Whoa. I know this gun is good. It's just, it's a little rough around the edges. We're gonna rock out with it. All I'm missing is hand stop. That's it. That's the only thing I'm missing. Oh, we got it out the other day. You're gonna set the bar so low for yourself. $500? Come on, Tammy. These chicks are giving it up for $199 on OnlyFans. Oh, the best way to do that is to build up to it. You know what I'm saying? You gotta build up to that. You start wearing a little lingerie, doing your thing, you know, and then you start building up to it. Then you hit them with the, oh, I'm gonna show my nudes. Or you do a premium package, and then you do videos and all that other stuff. My dude, stop. My dude, why are you chasing me, bro?
Hey, DJ.
Let me see.
DJ.
Playtime's over. Stand by for deployment to the war zone.
Nah, ask something, bro.
This might be good. I feel like it's gonna happen. I need that link now.
Mark a drop point for your team. You'll need a minute.
Scavenger contract walk.
You've got gas closing in fast. And your KIS teammates will redeploy. Any point-worthy action will return you to combat quicker. Primary objective to eliminate all enemies. Attack. Located a supply box. Secure that position. Hostile dropping into the area. Watch the skies. UAV active. Loadout drop headed your way.
Nice, they got loadout already. Let's go, baby.
Objective updated. Enemy UAV active.
Airstrike! Use the power!
Got your request.
I used the power.
Cluster strike is active. Loadout drop headed your way.
Not gonna touch that other one.
Enemy UAV active.
Located some cash!
Got him. Alright, let's see. Buy UAVs, bro.
Objective updated. Enemy UAV active. Contract complete. All supply boxes found.
Never mind. Oh man, got stacks on. Oh, why? You son of a bitch. Okay. Okay.
Loadout drop inbound.
Oh my god, please buy UAVs. Oh, right here, on me. Right here. Look him. Once I saw him, that's when he got me. Bro, buy UAVs, man!
We're returning you to the
Yo,
front
Joe.
lines. Go
Yo,
get
Joe,
'em.
buy some UAVs, bro.
Bro, you see us fighting, right?
Nah, bro. You have mad UAVs. All right on me, bro. I need help. Look him.
Allied UAV overhead. Hunt.
No, listen.
Allied precision airstrike. 25 left. Keep moving forward.
He's cooked.
Bro, I'm getting sniped for us.
You get sniped from headquarters.
You've got a second chance. Make it count. You've got a loadout drop inbound. Hostile dropping into the air.
Wow. Please get me out of this one.
Well, driver.
He said, you see I'm fighting, right? Bro, you had like 90,000.
Resurging. Go get your revenge. Time to cover your tracks. Enemy team. Heads up.
Bro, who am I playing with, bro? Come on, man.
You've got another chance to make a difference. I'm under fire. I won't let this be my end.
What the hell is going on? What the freak, dude? Oh man, just. Oh God. Please, by the gods. These guys need to do something, by the gods.
Redeploying. Make it mean something. We're all here.
Of course. Fucking guy camping, dude. Are you serious?
Okay, We're inside. Scan
Oh
for
my
movement.
god.
Just pinned me!
Oh, tonight. I'm playing tonight. Oh, what am I looking at?
Hostile foot patrol. Redeploying. Make it mean something.
All right, ready for third? Yes,
You're right. We wait before we drink.
okay, sure.
Safe zone relocated. Enemy UAV active.
Right there. They're cooked.
Turning to the front lines. Go get them. Stay vigilant. Resurgence window is about to close.
Let me see.
Prices are back to normal. Enemy dropping into the AO. Got gas moving in. Enemy UAV active. We must get to the safe zone.
I should have took that gas mask. I don't know why I didn't take that gas mask.
Thank you. May be seated. Your next question. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Your Honor. Dr. Spiegel, before we took the break, we were talking about the correlation between domestic abuse, heavy alcohol abuse, and cognitive disorders. Does the literature support your testimony on this?
Literature fully supports interaction.
Thank you. Now, you indicated that you reviewed Mr. Depp's video depositions. Is that correct?
Shit.
From
What the hell is going on right now?
12 of 2020 and December 14, 2021. Is that
I need
correct?
help, bro.
Yes.
Did you reach any conclusions about his cognitive symptoms, insight, and judgment in watching those?
So during the video deposition, what was readily apparent was a gentleman who had a significant delay in processing speed. And like I said, when you have a delay in processing speed, many of the cognitive functions are going to follow. You're going to be impaired attention, concentration, memory. All that's going to happen. In terms of
Top 10.
There's another one inside. He's going up top.
speech,
Got him. Boom. Let's go. Easy.
the way that thoughts were conveyed were
I ain't gonna lie. This shit is kind of nice.
kind of disconnected, disjointed statements. It wasn't that they were not necessarily understandable, but they didn't have any coherent pattern.
This thing is definitely kind of
until
nice.
He was more structured by Ms. Bredhoff to kind of get to the point of the question, which happened throughout most of the deposition. And so, you see there
Oh
that
shit! Right behind me.
there was
On the
some
outside.
form of
What the fuck was this guy? It's Snoop Dogg again.
in someone in their mid-50s, and probably due to the alcohol and substances.
I'm good for rest.
What, if any,
good for
observations
rest.
did you make about impulse control?
Oh my god.
So,
Why are
during
you
the
guys?
deposition-
What?
Record evidence.
Please. Please.
So, again, I think that under the guise of not being
Why are you guys
extremely
still camping,
intoxicated,
man?
I think Mr. Depp
Team
was
is in the
able
top
to
5. Let's be the
control
last.
Come on, hurry up.
much
I
of
need to
his
ping him.
behavior, much of his thinking, even if it was aberrant or negative, he's able to control that. I think that
You can res me.
once you start getting to the point of adding substances to that, that will set it over.
Nice.
If you saw the video, I think you all did,
Right there.
about the
Last one. That's the last guy.
kitchen.
Yep.
Nice.
Easy.
And
Good game.
yelling at Ms. Heard that you don't exist.
I know we're hearing the background stuff. Hold on.
Kipper,
We won. Can I quit? Can I quit?
screaming, and I do believe that a lot of it had to do with the interaction of, hey, we're trying to help you get sober.
Easy.
Okay, and it is
One game.
obviously something you are resisting,
That-
not ready for,
that gun
not
beams.
wanting. And
That gun beams, I'm not gonna
a lot
lie.
of yelling, a lot
That gun
of,
beams.
a lot of acting out, if you would.
Repeated himself.
He's entitled to give examples of it.
I'll
from
sustain the
hearsay.
objection.
That gun beams.
Multiple things
That man didn't even
Dr.
get a second
Cowan
chance to
was doing
think.
in therapy.
I got to give it more games though.
It was, like I said, it was, without relaying it, the exact thing. I'm trying to be as accurate as I can. And I think at the end of it, I think he was also talking about that Dr. Cowan was filling Amber with positive thoughts, a therapeutic.
Objection hearsay.
I think he's keeping it more general, and he's entitled to rely on. Thank you.
So more along the line of
Overruled.
giving Amber psychiatric jargon to put on him. And actually, what I read and interpreted what Dr. Cowan's was getting blasted for was he was, kind of teaching Amber how to misheard, how to use conflict resolution in a more appropriate manner and learning to express things more rationally rather than express things as irrational as they have been expressed. And for that, there were a lot of negativity being sworn at. So again, erratic behavior in terms of writing a text, but I have no problem with people being angry. Okay, none whatsoever. It's just the expressing of it and the continual ranting of it was very uncomfortable for me to read. But regardless, I think we have seen in terms of erratic behavior, much of the psychological and the physical maltreatment we talked about.
Objection beyond the scope of the question.
I don't agree.
I'll sustain next question.
Okay. Mr. Depp is 58 years old. Are the behaviors that you have been describing for the jury, are those typical and age-related?
No, so while I don't consider 58 years old, I'm 59, okay? I will tell you that the age-related changes that occur in humans are very erratic, hit and miss, meaning they'll occasionally be there.
We got the duck.
You
There
may
you go.
need a little bit more time to answer a question or pull things out of memory. Just a
make
little
something to
bit
eat.
slow and a lot more inconsistently slow. You wouldn't describe what Dr. Blauste's
What's up,
changes
Savage?
were or what I saw in the deposition attributed to age.
Dr. Spiegel, what is Seroquel?
Seroquel or quetiapine is actually an atypical antipsychotic, which is indicated for many things, including schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, adjunctive treatment for major depression. So it's indicated for a lot.
Yeah, this guy got a lot of nasal problems.
But what effects may it have? And this is one of the drugs that Mr. Depp was taking,
Yes.
correct? It was a prescribed drug?
Yes.
Okay.
You sure this guy's not on drugs?
Yeah, please
So
explain.
the effect of Seroquel is it's very often used as a sleeping agent because it doesn't have a lot of the side effects that are associated with conventional antipsychotics, movement disorders, tardive dyskinesia, et cetera.
You're right,
There's very
Leon.
low risk of that. So people have used it off-label. Physicians have used it off-label to help them sleep. The problem is the effect is very barbiturate-like, and it really
I feel like
knocks
he's
people
fucking snorting in my
out.
ear right now.
Certainly if you use it at high enough doses it can, okay? And the problem is
Yo, that shit is getting annoying. I ain't gonna lie, that
So
shit's getting
it's
annoying.
absolutely used on the street for that downer-like effect. And obviously, it's a little bit more readily available because it's prescribed. So it does have that street value portion of it.
I don't mean to make fun of the guy.
Spiegel,
but
what
holy
effect
hell, bro.
would this have on Mr. Depp based on the dosages he was taking?
So, I think
Yo,
what
my
you're
man took
looking
that
at
deep breath.
is a
Objection, speculation.
Overruled.
Please continue.
what you will see in patients who have substance use
Oh,
disorders.
bring back Dr. Curry.
Are people who unfortunately
I could hear her
kind
talk
of
all day.
wake up and fall asleep only through pharmacological assistance, meaning that their own circadian rhythms are no longer in control of that behavior. So you will take stimulants to quote unquote get you up in the morning, and then you will take things like quetiapine, Seroquel to knock you out. So basically what these are being used for is I'm going to get up and I'm going to get knocked out. And that's very characteristic of what would be actually legal prescribed substances. That's not illegal at all. That's very legal. And that's the seemingly what these medicines effect are on patients who have substance use disorder.
Dr. Spiegel, what is Neurontin?
So Neurontin is
Man,
actually
yo, she didn't even finish the
anti-seizure
question.
medicine, which I think it's indicated for seizures, and it might be indicated for one chronic pain condition, although I can't swear that to you. That said, again, in a substance use disorder population, it has significant street value, and people who misuse opiates often supplement that with Neurontin because it has this anti-pain calming effect. So unfortunately, it also can cause respiratory suppression. And so when you use it with opiates, there are people that are lucky enough to succumb to respiratory suppression as a result, but it has a very additive, calming effect that people use it for.
And what effect would this have on Mr. Depp in the dosages he was taking?
Again, I'm still waiting for the objection. Okay, again, what it would do is have the street value of using it with the opiates. The advantage is you're using with opiates, and it's making, because opiates in general, despite everything else it does, are calming. And you use it with it, it offers further calming, which is why doctors have been warned not to prescribe medications like gabapentin and opiates together unless under significant, strict following, because it can cause serious problems, such as death, respiratory suppression.
And Mr. Depp was also taking Adderall, correct?
Yes.
Can you please describe to the jury what that impact would have, and particularly in connection with the dosages?
So Adderall is a psychostimulant, which is prescribed relatively regularly for ADHD. The problem comes again when you shouldn't be prescribing or receiving Adderall when you're already misusing cocaine. Okay, you're now doubling your stimulant dosage here, and basically what you are talking about, again, it comes down to in the
Yeah, he's trying to
substance
prove his
disorder
credibility.
population, you are using it to stay awake, have energy, keep yourself going, getting high, getting energetic, and then the only way to kind of combat that, because you have this effect, is to kind of
Ooh, he was about to say
downers
fucking.
during the day, and downers being anything that's calming. So anywhere from opiates prescription, anywhere from Neurontin, anywhere from Seroquel, all medications that are potentially, not potentially, which are abusable. And so that's what this is going on. That's what the substance use disorder patient has, and it can't be given with someone using cocaine, because that's an extreme risk for death. You can't be given together.
And
Yeah, okay.
what, if any, effect would these drugs have if they were mixed with MDMA or cocaine?
So when you combine the two together, like I talked about before, there are effects where you are looking at, right, the predisposing traits of intimate partner violence. So jealousy, rapid mood changes, poor self-control, and to some degree, condoning violence to a certain degree. When you combine them all together, you get this disinhibiting, euphoriant effect.
Hey, Symphony, how you doing? Happy birthday.
Cocaine and Adderall. Then when you combine the two together, what happens? You get too much, and then you start getting irritable. You start getting agitated. Okay? You start becoming suspicious, jealous, potentially disinhibited, psychotic, and these are the risks. And again, we're talking about not your average everyday use of these substances. We are talking about chronic use together. And we also know that alcohol and cocaine use independently
Sneak typing?
increase significantly the risk of intimate partner violence. These aren't statistics I'm coming up with. They all depend, anywhere from reports up to 7 to 27-fold. So you are, quote unquote, colloquially playing with fire when you're talking about substances and intimate partner violence. You are playing with fire. And that's all of us.
And the substances that Mr. Depp was taking and the record evidence relating to those, did you draw any conclusions concerning whether he met this criteria or these risk factors?
So in terms of substance use disorder, when you look at it, so major role obligations not being fulfilled, don't have any evidence about operating under the influence or not. Social issues, especially disagreements and arguments with your spouse or family. Obviously, there was tolerance and dependence for the amount he was using, because if anyone is naive to these medications, most of us would be dead. Unsuccessful efforts, difficulty cutting back, using more than intended, giving up social occupational obligations because this, I know there was right after the rehab on the island in Australia when Mr. Depp went out partying with Marilyn Manson and using.
Objection beyond the scope of the question.
Actually, that's asking for the record evidence
I'll
for this.
sustain the objection. Next question.
Okay.
What other record evidence did you have supporting this?
So psychological, using despite the fact you know it causes known psychological, psychiatric, or medical effects. And I think that's been pretty well documented. So in this case, you're talking about someone who has a severe substance use disorder.
I know, right?
I do want
Are you
to
there?
emphasize, ladies and gentlemen of the jury,
Mega pint?
intimate partner violence and substance use disorders are two scourges in this country. They're two plagues. This is very serious stuff we're playing with. And when you are just getting someone closer and closer to the threshold.
Objection, Your Honor. Relevance.
This is highly relevant. Your Honor.
I'll overrule as to relevance.
Beyond the scope.
Go ahead.
Beyond the scope of the question.
Yes.
All right, I'll sustain that objection.
All right.
Sustain.
Tell me more about the relationships between substance abuse and IPV.
Yeah, so again, that you are talking about this and you may be able to control the risk factors for any of us may be able to control the risk factors for IPV. Any of us might be able to, okay? When we're thinking and we're not disinhibited, not having these hyper intense emotions from substances. Once you add that to this mix, your brain can no longer do what it's supposed to do. And it's supposed to prevent you from doing this, quite frankly, because it's wrong.
What?
Did you arrive at any conclusions concerning substance abuse and
So he's trying to say, for the alcoholics, the drug addicts, there's no consciousness of thinking anymore.
potential self-harm
This man sounds
that may
nuts.
have led to Mr. Depp injuring his finger?
So I think the physician before me explained that pretty well, but I'll tell you that Mr. Depp has a history of self-injurious behavior, meaning cutting himself. Mr. Depp has a history of burning himself. I know when the actual event happened, there was texting to Dr. Kipper, paraphrasing, not saying exactly, that Amber and him got into a disagreement related to her wanting him to be sober. And then as a result of that, he said he got so angry, he cut the tip of his finger off. So if you're asking me, can someone who has, or have I seen, and can someone who cuts themselves, burns themselves, can cut a tip of their finger off with or without alcohol or cocaine or the rest? The answer is
Objection beyond the scope of the question.
That's exactly what overruled. Thank you. Please continue.
Was it overruled?
It was overruled.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So that is not a very far jump. I've certainly seen patients do a lot worse than that who started out with similar risk factors of, burning self and cutting self. I'm not going to get into
Do you have the evidence?
the descriptions, but I've seen people do a lot worse than that.
Okay.
So the answer is yes.
Okay. I'm going to turn now specifically to intimate partner violence, and I know you've talked certainly about it. But can you tell the jury, please, a little bit more about intimate partner violence and what is included in that?
So the APA Task Force on Violence in the Family defined more or less this topic of domestic abuse, intimate partner violence, as recurrent abusive behavior by means of psychological, sexual, or physical maltreatment for the purpose of achieving control or maintaining power, authority, and control.
Can it include threats and intimidation?
It includes, so in the part of psychological abuse, which is done essentially as a means of emotionally and mentally hurting someone, but with the same end goal to achieve control, it can be destroying property, it could be financial, which is part of that, verbal outbursts, threats, intimidation, body language, all of that goes under the concept of psychological abuse. And you may be able to divide it, verbal, nonverbal, what's exactly emotional versus verbal.
I believe it.
But they're
I believe
all
it.
under that rubric, and they're all under
That
the
I
guise
believe.
of maintaining control.
Do
I believe that.
survivors of intimate partner violence experience mental health issues?
My man got the.
Can you repeat the question?
Do survivors of intimate partner violence experience mental health issues?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. So survivors of intimate partner violence, and by the way, I should start out by saying we don't expect, in psychiatry, we don't expect our victims to be perfect. We don't expect our victims to be unscathed by what they've received. So starting with that, okay, it is not unusual as survivors to see substance use, substance abuse, substance-induced symptoms, chronic depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, or subsyndromal post-traumatic stress disorder along the lines of Bader-Weiss syndrome, and some emotional unpredictability. And again, you are a victim here. You are a victim.
Do perpetrators typically seek treatment or counseling?
No, perpetrators are not receiving counseling treatment. One, because they're going to be probably having to tell someone that they actually struck someone, which is what their thought is about the big problem about intimate partner violence. Is just the hit. Again, important, but not the sole part of it.
I like
So
the way Johnny Depp
perpetrators
went to his
very
lawyer real
rarely
quick.
will go into any type of formal counseling. Victims go into counseling. Victims are seeking actually couples counseling. Victims are seeking couples advice to try to repair what's happening. Okay? But in terms of actual perpetrators, no, they don't do that.
In your review of this case, is there record evidence of
All right, I'm gonna Google that real quick because I
physical
don't know. I don't
violence
believe
by
that.
Mr. Depp?
So
Objection, Your Honor.
Which I
No foundation.
Do you want to approach him?
See, he lying, man. Ugh. It's like 40 to 60% that abusers will go and seek help. Did you sneak into your office at work? The work office. The work office. See my man right here, though? That man's a TikToker. This guy's a journalist. This guy's waiting for a divorce. Yo, she looks like Quagmire, like the female version of Quagmire. Oh, snap. Yo, this guy got a nice ass blazer, yo. This guy got a nice blazer. I like that blazer. Mm. Oh, they're about to pull up on somebody? Yo, there's something going on over here? Excuse me. What's going on over here, huh? What's going on over here? Stuff is happening. Getting out of control. We Kill 'Em and Chill 'Em Incorporated. How may I help you? Oh. Nobody use my saying. Yo, Coley, what up, Coley? Thank you. I appreciate that.
So, what have you reviewed that correlates with the risk factors for IPV that related to Mr. Depp?
So risk factor I reviewed that correlate. So starting with I guess we'll start with the physical because that was the question that was put out there. What I have reviewed has demonstrated pushing, shoving, grabbing.
Objection, Your Honor.
Let me see if I can direct this a little differently, Dr. Spiegel. Rather than giving the summary of what that was, what did you review that correlates? In other words, did you review witness statements? Did you review depositions, photos?
Yes. So what I reviewed was in terms of witness statements, Dr. Kipper's
Hey, yo.
notes. Very, very interestingly,
Okay,
actually, early on in I think it was 2012, around that time, circa 2012, 2014, Ms. Heard was
Action beyond the scope of the question.
What he reviewed.
My man Cole getting some cheeky cheeks.
All right, let's
so
see.
I reviewed so Ms. Heard's
Objection, there's no question pending.
If he's answering, go ahead and answer what you reviewed. Please continue with what you reviewed.
therapist's notes, counselor's notes, text messages, depositions, video, pictures.
My man Cole don't love us no more.
Psychologists'
He's in a relationship.
notes and evaluations. And I said physicians' notes. That's what I
It's okay, Cole. I still love you, buddy.
Now, you've indicated that intimate partner violence includes physical violence, sexual abuse.
The real question, Cole, and everybody's gonna agree with me. When are we gonna meet the nice little lady that you're dealing with?
Engaging in behavior for the sole purpose of emotionally and or mentally harming someone.
Chat. Thank me later,
with
chat.
the main purpose of, again, to maintaining control. So behaviors that can occur with psychological aggression include insults, intimidation, holding things financially against someone, jealousy rants, property destruction. So all that is involved. A nonverbal communication, so threatening looks, glances, things like that. All that is involved in psychological maltreatment and intimate partner violence.
What if anything would be psychological aggression if it was trying to control somebody's career? Would that be a factor?
Yeah.
Action leading.
Overruled.
So yeah, I'm trying to control someone's career. That would be under financial, trying to mistreat someone, especially someone wants to succeed and trying to have a career, and you're preventing them from doing so by maltreatment. That's another example.
So I'm going to ask specifically about the risk factors for intimate partner violence. Is substance abuse a risk factor for intimate partner violence?
Yes, it is a risk factor as well as a precipitating cause.
And what record evidence did you review that correlates to Mr. Depp engaging in substance abuse?
So the record evidence I'll just start with Dr. Kipper and the substances that Mr. Depp was using and misusing, both in terms of prescribed and on your drug screen, were brought out through that.
Okay. Is lack of behavioral control and impulsiveness risk factors for intimate partner violence?
Yes, they are.
Okay. And what, if any, record evidence were you aware of that Mr. Depp had exhibited lack of behavioral control and impulsiveness?
Fucking headset keeps
Again,
pulling my hair.
Threat.
Evidence were you aware of that Mr. Depp had exhibited lack of behavioral
What
control and
just happened?
impulsiveness?
Again, threatening,
Sorry.
breaking things, writings on walls, mirrors, writing in blood on furniture. All that would go with that.
All right.
The question you should be
and
asking if you want to have any more kids.
What, if any, risk factor is narcissism for intimate partner violence?
So a patient, before we get into narcissistic personality traits or disorder, the overall, it's categorized under what's called cluster B personality.
Objection, Your Honor, beyond the scope of the question.
He's explaining the narcissism.
I'll sustain objection if you
Okay.
ask a question.
Can you explain to the jury what's involved with narcissism as it relates to the risk factors of intimate partner violence and
So
what that realm is?
So narcissism patients have, again, poor self-control, okay, rapid mood shifts.
You need another baby.
As a result, they
Dad, I respect
have
that.
an undue sense of admiration. They worship power, they worship control. They have large of empathy, and people are generally kept around as long as they're useful to them. A large sense of entitlement. Anything else? Need for praise. So that would go under narcissistic personality and IPV.
What if any what if any traits would be requiring admiration? Would that fit into it?
Yeah, oh yes, requiring admiration, need to be admired is part and parcel of narcissistic personality disorder. Yes.
Would being envious fit within that?
Yes.
Fragile self-esteem?
Oh,
Yes.
sorry to hear that. I got a friend like
And,
that.
what, if
She can't
any,
have kids.
record evidence do you have that correlates with Mr.
Yeah.
Depp being narcissistic?
You know, she's cool. She's down to earth and stuff
Well,
like
I
that.
do think
And she has
that
no kids.
the
So
fact that he thought that Amber owed him, Ms. Heard owed him,
Objection, Your Honor.
Thank you. Go ahead.
the fact that Ms. Heard owed him and only wanted to be together with him because of his fame is an example of that.
But that's what gets me upset about a lot of women. A lot of women that can't have kids, and then you got these ones that are fucking complaining that they can have kids. It pisses me off. Because it's like you're taking it for granted. You're taking your womanhood for granted.
I do think the jealousy aspects are an example of that. I do think, as I think Mr. Tillett had testified that, being admired is one thing, but then behind your back saying something else about people is another thing. And I can probably say with a reasonable certainty that to some degree this whole trial is that. because I
Objection,
think-
Your Honor.
That's scary.
That's not record evidence. Speculation.
Please continue.
That this whole trial, in terms of narcissistic insult, is what's
My
going
man
on.
Johnny Depp brought in some
I
candies.
believe that Mr. Depp was very much a mainstay appropriately in Hollywood, and then this was pulled the rug without.
Objection, Your Honor. Can we be?
He's able to explain what
I'll
he's...
sustain that objection.
Can you explain what you mean by this whole trial?
Your
This
Honor, can we
proceeding would go,
approach?
this court case we're going through, right?
There's an objection, sir.
What up, G-Wiz? That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money to do those things. That's a lot of money. Damn, look at Amber, yo. She feels like she got it in the bag. I know this judge is like, I am tired of this nonsense.
What other conduct is in the record evidence that correlates with Mr. Depp being narcissistic, having those traits?
Was the thing about the trial rule? I can't
Yeah,
speak.
you're not allowed to say that.
Not say that. Okay.
Okay.
The only other thing about narcissism that I think in terms of the trial would be in order to maintain any sense of control, a narcissistic person really has to have lack of empathy, because in order to engage in behaviors that quote unquote are used to keep individuals in control, you don't really think about the other person. You're not really caring what happens to that other person. So I think that's another facet.
So are attitudes accepting or justifying intimate partner violence a risk factor for intimate partner violence?
Yes.
Do some perpetrators in intimate partner violence try to minimize the IPV?
Yes. So it is unfortunately not uncommon, especially during the calm phases of the abuse cycle where there is no increased tension, there is no acting out. Okay, you are talking about more of the honeymoon apologetic phase.
Oh, that's cool.
Begging for forgiveness,
That's cool.
telling them how you're going to change, maybe giving them gifts. And then when the dust settles later in the day, a day or two later, it is not uncommon for the perpetrator to kind of switch the blame over to the victim, saying that, hey, you know, this either denial, this never actually happened and trying to make me look bad, or an allopathic defense where you instigated it, or an altruistic effect where I'm doing it for you, transformative effect, that society kind of accepts this. So it is very uncommon for all of a sudden for that to start shifting. During that time, because it is during the calm phase and everything is relatively calm. This, of course, is when the victim wants to engage in treatment. But beyond that, the ability to kind of quote unquote, for lack of a better phrase, win people over, family, friends, the law. I mean, the very ability to do that is part and parcel of that calm, charming phase where it looks like the victim is, you know, just fabricating this.
And is victim blaming a characteristic?
Yes, like I said, I mean, to blame the victim, that one of the defenses are the allopathic defense comes along with victim blaming. That's what essentially you're doing. I'm blaming you for what you made me do.
Okay. And is there record evidence that you reviewed that correlates with Mr. Depp engaging in this type of
That
behavior?
sounds crazy.
So I think for a lot of the issues seen, the big precipitant was going to be the need for sobriety. Coming back to that severe substance.
Objection, Your Honor, non-responsive.
I think he's trying to explain it. Thank you. Please continue.
There's severe substance use disorder, and many of their arguments, but what I reviewed in the record, stemmed around Ms. Heard's desire for Mr. Depp to maintain sobriety, and that what was happened. So as a result, she was blamed for, you know, bothering him in a way he didn't want to be bothered, and that triggered what was going on.
Are you familiar with the term gaslighting?
I'm familiar with the term gaslighting.
Okay. What, if any, gaslighting is consistent with intimate partner violence and the risk factors?
So again, when you start being able to be, when a person starts to be able to be manipulative and charming, you start to be able to win people over. And especially when you see someone who's a victim who is essentially vulnerable, emotionally labile, okay? You see that person, and then you see this calm demeanor in front of you who's very charming, very engaging, very personable. And then all of a sudden it starts looking like the victim is just was essentially losing it, and i.e. they're being gaslighted.
Is there examples where an intimate partner violent perpetrator
I just got mugged by
claims
Streamlabs.
that the victim is the person who's actually committing the abuse?
Yeah, oh yes, oh yes.
How common is that?
That's very common. Again, that's part of that is very common in the occurrence of the honeymoon phase and the calm period of the abuse cycle. Very common during that time, where the victim, where they're shifting the blame or anything along that line. That's very common for that to happen.
And you indicated that you reviewed some audio tapes in this case, correct?
Yes.
And what, if any, evidence did you review there that correlates with Mr. Depp attempting to claim that Amber was the one?
Well, I think that was what was said, that Amber
Jay almost got
was
20,000.
the abuser.
Objection, Your Honor.
I don't understand the objection.
What record evidence?
Thank you. Please continue.
So that claiming that Amber was the abuser in this particular scenario, and what I will reiterate again is that, one, victims aren't perfect, and two, it is not uncommon in the context of being a victim when you know that person is about to proceed or relapsing to a substance or going to a substance and anticipating what's going to happen, that you anticipate the next move and start initiating self-defense. But by and large, that's not what's going on here. By and large, Mr. Depp,
Objection, Your Honor.
behavior was
There's
consistent.
an objection, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll sustain the objection.
Okay. All right, we can move on to the next one. Is prior victimhood of abuse a risk factor for intimate partner violence?
Yes.
And
So-
go ahead.
There's something known as intergenerational theory of violence, which is basically along the line of observation, imitation,
I don't touch it.
reinforcement. So you observe a behavior that occurred in childhood, you imitate it when you see that there's no significant
How much
negative
points do I have?
consequences, but you do get the positive consequence of
Let me see,
maintaining
hold on.
control of a situation, solving the conflict in your way, if you would. So that theory is, interestingly, it applies to not only the victims, not only the perpetrators, but also the victims, because there are many victims who grow up in a house of abuse that are not abused, but they're the victims of abuse.
What are the warning signs of intimate partner violence?
So warning signs would be increasing the tension, escalations of tension. So
What?
that's
I only
when
got
you start
180 points?
seeing,
And this
hey,
is my game!
partners getting angry,
Streamlabs is fucking rigged!
starting to break down the communication, starting to engage in verbal, nonverbal threats. Victim concedes
We're about to get our
due to
pitchforks
this
and our
tension,
flames ready.
and that leads you to
All right,
the
I'll get
actual
ball.
acts. So these acts progressively build, and then
No, because if I win, you're gonna say it's rigged.
What, if anything, have you seen in intimate partner violence about apologies and promises?
So again, the apology is part and parcel of the honeymoon phase, and promises are part and parcel of the
I don't
honeymoon
even watch
phase.
my stream like that.
And, the victim wants to believe it's going to work. They want to believe their spouse is going to be faithful to this. And as part of
I'm
the
fucking
abuse
broke,
cycle,
guys. I need burial
ends up-
dollars.
as I should say, in the calming cycle, like I said, the victim tries to get some help to try to resolve this until the tension buildup phase where something bothers them. So again, it could be bothering someone about substance abuse. It can be bothering someone about finance. It could be bothering something about your career. Anything is liable to build up tension when you have this framework of limited self-control and erratic, intense mood shift.
This is my problem with this guy. He continuously is attacking Johnny, right? Instead of saying in a general sense. And he's pissing me off because he keeps on saying that. And now when he said what he just said, you could implement that in any situation. It's not only one individual. It's two people at the same time that can create that kind of tension.
So what, if any, record evidence did you review that reflected Mr. Depp engaging in these warning signs, including the apologies and the promises?
I think that was almost routine, that after it was all said and done, that he would apologize for letting this monster out, letting this anger out, almost routinely. And
It's rigged.
There's very well record evidence of that.
I believe it.
starting as early on in the marriage. in therapy.
Let me see if I can get some more points. Hold on, I gotta watch my own stream.
That's very common and very much occurred. Recognizing what happened. And the other part of this is, again, when you can recognize that when you're sober, even short-lived sobriety, when you could recognize that things are better, things are happening better, life is better, then even that should show you that, hey, there's an issue here. There are issues here that when I don't use can be resolved.
Thank you, Dr. Spiegel. I'm going to now move to the Goldwater Rule. Can you explain the Goldwater Rule, please?
Son of a bitch.
So the Goldwater Rule is when Senator Goldwater was running for presidency, and I'm going to be honest with you, I think it was in the late 60s.
Objection,
when he was,
beyond
early
the
70s,
scope.
Because I was too young to even follow politics then, so please don't quote me on exactly when it was. But basically what's happening is clinicians, psychiatrists were making these quote-unquote armchair diagnoses from their homes or offices because they saw this person on TV, the way they acted, and were asked to comment about what they think their diagnoses are. And therefore, it was felt that that should not be done by professionals in these public settings.
Does it have any applicability here?
No, of course.
Objection.
Why not?
No foundation.
He was explaining what the Goldwater
You
Rule
want to
was.
approach?
Objection. Yo, I want my money back.
Dr. Spiegel, do you remember the question? Does the
think the
Goldwater Rule have any applicability here to your testimony and your conclusions and opinions?
No, it does not.
And
for
why?
Multiple reasons. One, the basics of expert witness testimony would almost be thrown away if you are not allowed to base things on what you evaluated of an individual, what you've read about an individual. So I'm not allowed to comment on records or charts or information that I looked at. Expert witness testimony can't be done. But more specifically for this case, in the Goldwater Rule, the pure version of it was the armchair diagnosis of watching someone on TV. Just, you don't make a diagnosis. More recently, I think that's even more recent, we've had examples of that. So you don't make diagnoses like that. This is not the case here, because like I said to you at the beginning, I have reviewed a lot of professional,
What are you talking about?
a lot of professionals and their evaluations and their treatment course, video deposition, picture deposition, court filings, emails. I mean, I reviewed a whole lot of things that directly describe Mr. Depp and his behavior. So I'm not commenting on a public opinion, and I have absolutely no knowledge of what's in Mr. Depp's history. If I was just doing that, it would be like watching a movie. That's not relevant here.
Did they pick up this witness from the streets? Like from a cardboard box? Yeah, I just... What? Did you just say? You just, you said a statement, then you retracted the statement, then you said a statement, then you retracted the statement. What the hell are you talking about?
And in fact, I think you testified earlier, you invited Mr. Depp to.
Oh, yes.
Give an
And again,
example.
Objection leading.
Overruled.
Thank you.
So, to be fair, for an evaluation, for my own direct evaluation, again, I was offered twice that I can do an evaluation of Mr. Depp directly, and both times, Mr. Depp and/or his lawyers decided that that wasn't going to happen.
Okay. And in fact, the court did not require Mr. Depp to.
No, and the court did not require Mr. Depp to undergo this evaluation.
Okay. Dr. Spiegel, these opinions that you have offered here, do you hold them to within a reasonable degree of medical and psychiatric probability or certainty?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, cross-examination. Thank you, Mr. Dennison.
Here we go. Let's go, Johnny Depp's team. I'm on Johnny Depp, baby.
Sir, I'm Wayne Dennison. We haven't met. But let me ask you, let's start with what you finished with.
I'm sorry, one more time?
Let's start with what you finished with. You understand that the court was twice asked by Ms. Heard's counsel to order a medical exam of Mr. Depp, and those motions were denied.
I think your team told the court you didn't want to have them, and the court ruled on them, right? I don't think the court proactively did it. You kind of had a motion to them, right?
No. When Ms. Heard's lawyers moved for them and asked for them and did not get them. Isn't that right, sir?
If you're saying that's what happened, my understanding of was that you all did not want him to undergo one. They petitioned for it. The court said no. Yes, that's what my understanding of it was.
The court said no to ordering Mr. Depp to do the medical exam.
Right, I said the court did not require it, right?
And there was one that was ordered, in fact, right?
There was...
All right.
Yo, how you come out the gate with that? That's what I like, yo. They came out the gate. He was like, Our team asked for medical records. Our team asked for medical records on Amber Heard. So you're saying that the court didn't want that? Or Amber Heard's team didn't want that? I like that. That's what I'm talking about. Let's get to the fucking facts.
It is unethical for a psychiatrist to offer
Hold
member
up.
of, yes.
Aren't you a fellow or something?
Let's go.
All right, so the last thing you talked about was the Goldwater rule.
Yes, sir.
Been around for almost 50 years, right?
Yeah, I'm 59. That sounds about right.
Yeah. And it's been around as a result of a presidential election that you referenced.
Yes.
And who has that rule? What organization maintains that rule?
The American Psychiatric Association.
An association you're a member of?
Association that I'm a member of, yes.
Yeah. Aren't you a fellow or something?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So, and this is an ethical rule, right?
It is an ethical rule. And yes, it's ethical. They say rules. It's an ethical guideline. Yes, they're guidelines.
Mm-hmm. And you know that over time, the American Psychiatric Association has amended the rule so it's not just about diagnoses, but it's also about professional opinions.
Could you be more specifically say about professional opinion in regard to what?
Well, let me read this and see if you're familiar with it. It is unethical for a psychiatrist to offer a professional opinion about an individual based on publicly available information without conducting an examination. That's the rule, right?
If you're reading it directly, I will believe you.
Okay. However, a diagnosis is not required for an opinion to be professional. So my question is, it's not just diagnosis that this Goldwater rule applies to, it's professional opinions.
So again, I will reiterate that that would come down to essentially nullifying witness testimony, expert witness testimony, without direct evaluation. And as we know, it didn't happen. But regardless of that, the whole expert witness testimony thing would be basically rendered null and void.
The rule, in fact, contemplates that issue, doesn't it, sir?
Again, I'm just telling you the answer to the question. When you're reading me those statements, I'm telling you the response by the other side, who publishes also, is that if that was the case, there could be no expert witness testimony in the courtroom.
Psychiatrists are ethically prohibited from evaluating individuals without permission
Migs!
or other authorization, such as a court order. That's the rule, right?
Again, if you're reading that, then I have to believe you're not misrepresenting it. And I would come back to, again, then this whole thing on expert, we might as well get rid of all the expert witnesses we've had throughout all of time for court proceedings. Because what you're saying is unless a court orders it, and that's what you just said, or the APA said, then therefore expert witnesses cannot do an evaluation based on an observation of the medical records. Insurance companies cannot do evaluations solely based on the medical record where they're doctors rendering professional opinions. So at the end of the day, you are essentially saying that unless someone has directly evaluated it, this whole medical system we have, this whole legal system we have is null and void.
I'm not saying...
No, yes, you are, sir. No, you are.
Well, give me a second, and I'll give you more than a second. What I'm saying and what I am reading to you is a rule by your organization
Got him. Got him. Got him.
that takes into account that there could be court orders that would permit the exact kind of evaluation that you say I'm eliminating.
And I think we're going in circles because I think I just said that means expert witness testimony would not be allowed, and the branch of forensic psychiatry would be especially hindered. And we know the branch of forensic psychiatry does not prohibit that.
All he has to do is say yes or no.
I am a member of the APA. That doesn't necessarily mean every single thing they put in there, everybody has to uncategorically agree
What you
with.
up to,
Because
Mick?
clearly, that's not the case.
Did you
Playing
agree
some
in your
Apex?
deposition that the professional opinions you rendered were inconsistent with the Goldwater rule?
Yeah, my first was inconsistent. If we're saying that if the Goldwater rule says, and I very much said that during deposition, that the Goldwater rule was made for presidents and public figures such as that, but regardless of that, because that's what it was made for. It's not made for Hollywood, but I'll even take that Mr. Depp's a public figure. What I'm saying to you is that the Goldwater rules say we cannot do any expert witness testimony in our field. That is exactly what the Goldwater rule is saying based on exactly what you read. And I'm just telling you what you are saying that rule encompasses.
What I'm asking you, sir, is did you comply with the ethical requirements of the APA when rendering the professional opinions that you've rendered today?
It is a requirement of the APA. It is not the requirement of the APA. Secondarily,
So the answer is no?
Secondarily, again, in order to not, we wasted our whole morning because there was an expert witness before me. There's an expert witness everyone brought in.
You got him.
So all I'm saying to you, that means the whole
got him.
field of medical legal law is corrupt and unethical for engaging in an act that the APA clearly says we should not do. So if you're saying that, then the answer is yes, I'm agreeing with that statement.
You're agreeing that the APA would deem your testimony and your professional opinions rendered unethical.
I am saying you are saying that I'm an expert witness. I'm saying as an expert witness, and solely as an expert witness, that guideline is permitting that from occurring. I would say then that the whole field of expert witness testimony, again, would be disavowed by.
Got him. Look at Johnny. Johnny's like, you got got.
And we know.
You got
that's
got,
not
huh?
the case, because if it
You
was,
got
we
got.
would not be allowed to do it.
And you said the rule was for presidents, right? And
That was
public
initially for
figures.
president, yes.
Well, and the name of the rule came from that. But the rule says it is unethical for a psychiatrist to
Got
offer a
him.
professional opinion about an individual. That's right, sir. It's not just presidents, it's not public figures, it's individuals.
Funny, it was named after the, according to your logic, if you don't put something in the title, it's not true. That's what you told me this morning, I believe, at my intimate partner violence. So what I would say to you then, sir, is that if you say this about an individual, again, any court would have to render an expert witness testimony invalid. Any doctor that reviews charts would have to render it invalid. I can go on the list of docs that do not see or interview patients directly, and that's a violation. So basically, you are saying that unless you do a direct clinical evaluation, then all of the field of forensic psychiatry and all of managed care is doing an unethical violation because we are not seeing the presence. We deny patients medications all the time without seeing them. We deny patients treatments, unfortunately, without seeing them. And I'm on the receiving end of that. So the answer to your question, again, unless you are saying to me that all of this is unethical, which is what you are saying. This is how I'm interpreting what you are saying to me. That unless you do the evaluation directly yourself, therefore, it cannot be considered ethical. And I'm telling you how that's applicable to not just expert law, but also managed care. It's applicable to multiple branches of medicine. Hospital, duration of hospitalization stay, they get evaluated. So
Oh, he's trying to.
tell me where you want me to end this.
Well,
Sir.
why don't we talk about what you just testified to? Because I didn't ask you anything about that. I asked you whether, under this rubric, under this principle of medical
Let's
ethics,
go right back. Let's
have
go
you
right
acted
back.
unethically? Yes or no?
No. As an expert witness, I have not acted unethically. And if you want the jury to believe that expert witnesses are unethical, then I guess that's for them to decide.
Yes
That's
or no,
for them
sir.
to
You
decide.
said no. Let's go to the next question.
Okay.
Right? Psychiatric diagnosis occurs
Damn.
in the context of an evaluation based on thorough
Yo.
history-taking, examination, and where applicable, collated or collateral information. You'll agree with that?
I believe I said that earlier, yes.
Yeah. And it's a departure from the methods of the profession to render an opinion without an examination and without conducting an evaluation in accordance with the standards of psychiatric practice, correct?
Well, again, by the way, for the record, intimate partner violence is not a psychiatric diagnosis. I'll start with that. Substance usage by themselves is not a psychiatric diagnosis. If you want to cut to the chase, psychiatric use is not a diagnosis of that. Narcissistic personality traits is not a diagnosis. Ergo, I am basically commenting on the things that were brought to me, which are not diagnosis. But an evaluation, if I was going to treat a patient or anyone here, those are the steps I would take.
We, I think, started with the notion that this rule applies broader than diagnoses. It applies to professional opinions.
I believe you just
rendered
quoted
professional opinions relative to narcissistic personality traits, haven't you, sir? Relative to Mr. Depp.
Again, I believe you just commented on what it takes to do in a psychiatric evaluation to establish a diagnosis. I'm almost certain that's what you said. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you didn't say that, but I'm sure you did. And therefore, what I'm saying is neither IPV nor substance usage,
What
nor
the hell is
narcissistic
going
personality
on?
traits a psychiatric diagnosis. And then under the rubric of expert witness testimony, you are saying I acted unethically on the rubric of expert witness testimony. So if you, sir, would like to proceed that expert witnesses are unethical, based on that, I am not going to
What
sit
is
here
he
and disagree
talking
with you
about?
and waste everyone's time. I think it's fairly obvious. So thank you. Go ahead. These were your words. I'm just saying them back how they're interpreted.
Okay. Let's start with the easy question then.
There you
Maybe
go.
we can.
That was pretty easy. Go ahead.
Dumb it
You're
down.
going to have to just answer the questions.
Okay. Sorry about that. Getting into it.
You need to just answer the questions,
Okay.
Dr. Speaker.
That's right. Dumb it down.
You are not rendering any diagnosis whatsoever of Mr. Depp today or ever.
Y'all just say yes.
No, I probably would say to you
Oh
that
my
certainly I would not say
God.
narcissistic personalities, or I would say traits. Certainly, from what I have read, intimate partner violence is not a diagnosis. So the answer is no for that. Narcissistic personality traits is not a diagnosis. The answer is no.
My man
But
hit
if
him
you
with
want
off
to
the
tell
top
me that
rope.
substance use disorder is a psychiatric diagnosis, the answer is yes. And
But that wasn't an issue, was it? Whether Mr. Depp used substances? I mean, you said you've gone through the record. That wasn't really an issue at this trial. He's said it from day one.
oh, so you're saying he's already admitted to the diagnosis?
He's already admitted to the use of the substances.
Well, again, there's a difference between admitting to substance use and substance use disorder.
Let's go back to what you just said about narcissistic personality traits.
Yes.
Narcissistic personality disorder is a DSM-5 diagnosis, correct?
Correct.
Diagnostic personality, and you haven't testified that Mr. Depp has narcissistic personality disorder, have you?
I would certainly, if I didn't, I'm certainly thinking that, but at least I'm going to say he has traits which are characteristics of provisional diagnosis of, it's a provisional diagnosis of probably narcissistic personality.
You can ask the
But yeah,
question
I mean, I
again.
do believe that.
Well, but when you say provisional diagnosis, you know the DSM-5 requires, in order to find that diagnosis, 5 of the 9 factors. And you haven't done that analysis. You've never made that diagnosis. You've just identified certain factors.
That are criteria for the diagnosis.
Right. But you need 5 of 9 to get to the diagnosis. You've already told us that you didn't make a diagnosis. You're just identifying traits, correct?
I'm identifying traits that are consistent with the diagnosis. Yes.
Yes.
Right. And did you testify in deposition that the existence of traits, as opposed to the disorder, doesn't have a correlation with IPV?
If I said traits do not have a correlation with the, if that's what I said, and I don't remember saying that, but that wouldn't be a correct saying. Narcissism has a correlation with the diagnosis. Yes, that part's true.
All right, how far are we going to back this up? Because there's a diagnosis of narcissistic personality disorder, right?
Yes, sir.
And that one is has some correlation with IPV, right?
Narcissism has correlation with IP. Again, sir, you're not allowing me to answer. You're splitting hairs. You're splitting hairs between the traits that are consistent with, which all I'm commenting on is behaviors and traits that are consistent with the diagnosis. And Mr. Depp, narcissism absolutely has risk factors associated with IPV.
Let's go back again, and maybe we can focus on the question I asked you, and we can get an answer that's addressed to that question. Narcissistic personality disorder is a risk factor for IPV, yes or no?
Yes.
And you previously testified that there is no literature at which you are currently aware that the mere presence of narcissistic traits is a risk factor for IPV.
Am I answering the question?
Yes.
That's incorrect.
You didn't testify to that.
A cluster B traits, which narcissistic personality disorder is part of, is a huge risk factor for intimate partner violence, which include, cluster B traits include narcissistic personality disorder, antisocial personality disorder, amongst others. So the answer to the question is every resource on intimate partner violence will support that cluster B traits, where narcissistic personality falls under, is a risk factor for intimate partner violence.
Any single trait is a risk factor for IPV.
Again, I will repeat, cluster B traits. I didn't say any trait. I said cluster. No, you said
Let me be more precise then.
okay.
Any narcissistic trait in and of itself is a risk factor for IPV.
But you are mischaracterizing what I said. What I said, I'm pretty sure I said cluster, if you look at all the intimate partner violence literature, and it would behoove you to do so, you will see that cluster B
You got 'em.
traits.
You got him.
I didn't say narcissistic per se. Cluster B traits, where narcissistic personality disorder is part of, are risk factors for intimate partner violence, part and parcel, uniformly true. And I'm not sure, the thing I don't understand is, I'm not sure why we're arguing psychiatry, because I'm telling you what it is.
Dr. Siegel, you just need to answer the question.
Okay.
So you want to talk about cluster B, so let's do that for a minute. Borderline personality disorder is a risk factor for IPV.
As part of cluster B traits, yes.
Histrionic personality disorder is a risk factor for IPV.
Less so.
But it
Less so. Less so. I mean,
cluster B.
it's a risk factor, but less so, yes.
Yeah.
Less so. Significantly less so.
All right. So which traits under narcissistic, before I move on there, there's only been one diagnosis in court of personality disorders, correct?
I'm not sure who you're referring to. Are you referring to Mr. Depp, Ms. Hurt? I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Do you understand that there was a medical examination done of Ms. Hurt?
Yes, I did.
Do you understand that the testimony was ultimately that Ms. Hurd suffers from 2 personality disorders?
Okay, so I'm just being specific. I just wanted to know if you're talking about Ms. Hurt or Mr. Depp. So that's all I was asking you.
Yes or no to my question?
Which was there's only one diagnosis of, Ms. Hurt was diagnosed with that.
Yeah, and both of the diagnoses are in cluster B, and both of them are risk factors for IPV.
But both those cluster B things are, I'm not allowed to comment on the testing, so therefore, all I can say is that cluster B traits, and
Yeah.
I'll tell you what they are. And by the way, I
Yeah.
testified this before, which was that,
Just
one,
say
I don't
yes.
expect perfection from my victims. 2,
I don't-
absolutely there are cluster B
you're-
traits. Ms.
He's
Hurt
saying
had.
in
Absolutely,
general.
Ms. Hurt had cluster-
Given that you've testified to it before, let's move on to a new question.
Okay.
All right? You indicated
Yo.
in your opinion today that you thought, well, why don't we move a little differently? Are you a member of the American Medical Association?
No.
Okay, so you don't know what the ethical rule of the American Medical Association is relative to doing clinical diagnoses about individuals you've never talked to.
So you're saying in terms of doing expert witness evaluations, under that rubric, right?
I'm just asking you, do you know the AMA's rule?
You're saying the AMA's ruling under the rubric of not doing evaluation with someone you did not see, and I'm questioning, I'm asking, so you are talking about expert witness testimony?
No, I'm talking about, do you know the rule?
I'm not a member of the AMA, so I don't
Okay, great.
read the rubric.
We
Okay.
can move on. You don't know the rule.
Huh?
All right. You rendered an opinion about Mr. Depp's purported cognitive impairment.
Yes.
Yeah. What do you use as a baseline?
A baseline for processing speed?
Yeah, for analyzing Mr. Depp before you watched his deposition.
What do I use a baseline for that?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess my baseline would probably be how I've seen him interact in public. How I've seen him interact with others. I've seen him interact in media. I've seen him interact and his process speed is certainly not slow. I've seen him do commercials. His process speed was not slow.
He said commercials. What the hell?
Deposition, didn't you say that what you did was compare Mr. Depp's performance in lots of pirate movies against his deposition testimony here?
What I said was I've seen Mr. Depp do apology ads. I remember he did an apology ad with Bad Dog with no delay in process speed. I've seen him interact with the media regarding to that. I saw no delay in processing speed. All I'm saying
Let me ask you about pirates, though. You compared pirates to the to the depositions given in this case.
Then I apologize for what I said. Then I misspoke.
You misspoke? You didn't make the comparison?
Right now, just a second ago? Just a second ago, I may have said that I misspoke. I apologize, I misspoke.
Okay.
It's going all downhill for him. It's going super downhill for him.
Because you know you can't compare pirates to sworn testimony, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But you can, but as an aside, you can judge someone's processing speed at any time. Like I'm judging yours right now, you're judging mine. We all judge processing speed as a baseline because of what we know about each other. I would say your processing speed right now is not slow. So, I mean, we're judging processing speed. I'm just saying to you.
Yeah. But no, any of Mr. Depp's other portrayals in movies, did that affect your analysis of processing speed?
Only I've seen him interact on interviews, and that was it.
Right.
When he wasn't in movies.
Right. But Willy Wonka doesn't matter to you? You see him in that movie, Charlie and Chocolate Factory? Did you look at that one when you were comparing his processing speed?
Do I have to answer that question, Your Honor?
Yes.
You have to answer questions. Yes, sir.
No, you'll be happy to know I didn't see Willy Wonka and I didn't see 21 Jump Street
Yo.
when it happened or whatever it was about. No, I did not.
Yo.
All right.
Yo. He's breaking apart.
You made a very kind admission, I think.
He's
early on in your
breaking
deposition
apart.
That you're not claiming
What
to
am
be
I
a better actor than Mr. Depp. That's correct, isn't it?
100%.
All right. But with respect to acting, you know that actors actually rehearse for their parts and work on the language,
What's up, Larry?
diction, timing of their dialogue as part of that rehearsal.
If you say that,
afraid
I'm not
to-
an actor,
I'm
so
afraid
I
to
don't know
say.
what goes on. I can't tell you. I have
My
no
man,
idea
you
what
need
goes on
some of
there.
this.
Okay, but you don't know enough about acting to know whether actors rehearse?
Sir, I am not an expert in acting. I have no idea what an actor does.
Okay.
My man sounded like he was sucking somebody off. Yo. Yeah.
During your deposition, what were the circumstances under which you decided to call Mr. Depp an idiot?
Under somebody call Mr. Depp an idiot?
Yeah, you called Mr. Depp an idiot in your deposition. Why?
Oh, I think. Okay. So I think it was in the context. I think it was in the. You probably should read the context of it because I think the context was, and I'm trying to think back. Okay. And what I thought it was related to was if you're coming to some deposition, okay. And again, I'm thinking back. So you have it in front of you. I don't. So I'm thinking back where he's coming in from.
This guy is losing
Europe
it.
for a deposition, video deposition that he gave, and he took it overnight the night before. And what I think I said was that if you're going to do a major thing to a trial that you're involved with, I think you'd be an idiot to come in the night before.
All right.
So I didn't call Mr. Depp an idiot. I certainly called that planning an idiot. I didn't call him an idiot.
So the words "so I mean
called him an
he's
idiot.
are mistranscribed?
No, I'm sure, again, if I said it in that, if you're just reading one line, one snippet, I'm sure it was in the context I just said. But again, you have it in front of you, I don't.
Yeah. Is idiot a professional opinion?
I wasn't rendering professional opinion,
Yeah.
no.
Is it a psychiatric opinion?
He needs milk.
And that follows the Goldwater rule.
He's like this.
How does it follow?
My man
I
got that
just said
cotton
that.
mouth.
I'm not rendering a professional opinion. I just said idiot. That's not a
No,
Goldwater.
so idiot is not a professional opinion. Mm-hmm. Is it your practice to describe people as idiots?
In my practice, describe people. In my practice, no, I don't describe people my clinical cases as idiots or patients as idiots or victims as idiots. No, sir.
But you sat for a deposition in this case and described the plaintiff as an idiot, correct?
You gave me 9 hours of deposition, and if I said the word idiot, it was an idiot in planning. It wasn't making him an idiot. I don't know Mr. Depp's IQ. I don't know his overall functioning. So therefore, if I said it, it was an idiot in planning, which is what I meant to come across
You
as.
called him an idiot.
So you did say you don't know his overall functioning, But you made some testimony today as to some evaluations you made relative
He
to
needs
his
Gatorade to
You
hydrate
agree
from all the
with me
coke he did last
that
night.
it's probably a good idea to think about the questions that are asked you in a court proceeding before answering them.
Am I allowed to answer that question?
Yes.
Okay. So.
Alfredo with the $4.99 super
I
chat.
believe that his agent reported how late he was showing up to every movie while the cast is waiting for him. I believe that would be an impairment. If I showed up late for that, I would not be here right now, would not have a job. Okay? I believe the thing was in terms of balking out of treatment for substance rehab that his doctor is prescribing for him. So if you're asking me if that's an impairment of functioning, I would say I'm very much substantiated in that.
I'm trying to understand how you got to this notion of cognitive decline. And I thought it was based at least
Thank
in
you, Alfredo,
part
for the super
on
chat
the manner in which
donation.
he
I appreciate it. Makes the
testified.
stream bigger and better.
I'm sorry, what?
On the manner in which he testified.
On the manner, I'm sorry, I'm not being difficult. I can't hear. I'm sorry. On what?
I was asking you about the cognitive decline
Yes.
testimony that you made.
Yes.
And it was my understanding that at least a portion of that testimony that you rendered was that you derived some evidence of cognitive decline from the way Mr. Depp testified.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's what I said. Yes.
Right. And so all I'm asking you is,
Oh, he's going downhill,
don't
Tammy,
you
if
think
you
it's a
missed
good
it.
idea
He's going
when you're in the
downhill.
middle of a court proceeding to answer questions carefully?
Again, professionally, we diagnose patients with a neurocog disorder by gross evaluation all the time with cognitive. On the thought that, again, age normal controls, I'm just saying, age normative controls does not put a 58-year-old gentleman at that processing. That's all I'm saying. That's all I said.
And you derived this without ever once talking to the man.
You mean me directly talking to him? Because we know how I derived it. So you're talking about me directly talking to him?
Yeah, you never talked.
No, I've never talked to him.
There you go.
And this exam
said
he
it.
gave,
He said it.
well, you did talk about Dr. Blaustein, right?
Yes, sir.
And you understand that the entirety of Dr. Blaustein's medical records are 12 pages of handwritten notes.
The important part was what I said. For me, as an example of cognition, which I'm trying to prove, which is what you asked me.
Bro, why does
the
he not
important
want
part
to
was what
answer
I
the
said.
questions?
And that was irrefutable.
If he knows the thing is that
The
if he
important
answers the
part
question,
is
he's
that
going to
he
be
gave-
doing
He
perjury.
gave the mini mental status exam.
Yes, sir.
All right.
That's
Let's
a
talk
cog-
about the mini mental status exam. Scored on a 30-point scale, right?
Yes.
All right. And it's an exam that basically is most often used for what, Alzheimer's, dementia, those kind of testing.
It's an exam that tests cognition in all psychiatric illnesses, not just Alzheimer's. It was made for dementia for Alzheimer's, but is the standard, has been the standard for testing cognition in all psychiatric illness, substance use disorders included.
Okay. Now, there is an element of that exam that requires drawing, correct?
Yes.
So you don't know what drawing Mr. Depp did or whether the drawing should have been fully scored.
I wasn't questioning his visual spatial perceptual skills, which is what that does.
Right. And you don't know what score Mr. Depp received on the exam.
I was very specific. I know 3 words, not remembering at 5 minutes. That's all I said.
3 words, not remembering 5 minutes, and he remembered one of them, right?
From what I understand, he didn't remember any of them.
All right.
He's an actor. How is he not going to remember anything? He's an actor. He has to remember words in his line. He's an actor. What are you saying right now, my guy?
Memory on the exam, out of the 30 points, what's it worth? 3. 3, right? Memory is 3 out of the 30.
Yeah, memory's 3.
Okay.
But again, the memory section in and of itself tests memory. That's the only question that tests memory, only section that actually tests memory.
So the memory section tests memory. It's the only section you testified about. And for all you know, that with respect to the exam that you're relying on, Mr. Depp scored 27 out of 30.
And that would be telling, though, cognitive, if you score 27 out of 30 and you miss 3 points on memory. That would be very telling.
You don't know if Mr. Depp had been up all night the night before.
Again, you wouldn't expect to not recall any words at 3 minutes unless there's a cognitive issue.
You don't know if Mr. Depp was high.
And again, now that could affect memory, but I'm not refuting that. I'm not refuting that at all. He could have been high, he could have been drunk, he could have been using cocaine, and that would absolutely affect his memory, which is what I said. Yes, you're right.
So ultimately, you have no idea what state Mr. Depp was in at the time he took the exam that you're relying on.
Short of what you just said about drugs and alcohol, okay, there shouldn't be a reason why a 58-year-old also with strokes and other neurocognitive conditions, but short of that, there shouldn't be a really good reason why someone at that age shouldn't come up with at least one. But in answer,
But wait a minute, you started that question with short of drugs and alcohol and spent 35 minutes talking about his use of drugs and alcohol. Isn't that right?
He's
I'm
breaking
agreeing.
apart.
I thought I agreed with you. I think I agreed. I said that drugs and alcohol
He called him.
can
Okay,
absolutely.
hold on. He called him so bad that he stood stuck. Asked the judge, "Should I answer this question?" Because he was stuck so bad. My man said, and he looked like he was sucking dick.
absolutely affect cognition. I'm not sure. I agree, but I'm not sure if that's a problem. I agree with you on that.
All right. So you don't know one way or the other how he scored on the exam. You don't know whether he was at the time on drugs and alcohol, but you're going to rely on it in your testimony to say that he's cognitively impaired.
Which is what we do in clinical medicine, sir.
Okay. You rely on tests that you don't know when it was administered, you don't know the score of the test, and you don't know the state of the person being tested, but you're going to rely on it anyway.
Again, if we had to know every test, when people get the mini-mental state exam, we have no idea clinically if they are high, wasted, stoned, stroke. We have no idea. So if you're going to say that, that means everybody needs a drug test before they do a mini-mental study, and that's not the standard of care. And I think you know that. So
let's talk a little bit about this word you kept using, correlation. You know the word, right?
yes,
Correlation and causation aren't the same thing, are they, sir?
no, they're not the same thing.
No. How are they different?
Correlation is consistent with causation, means direct link.
Can you say that again? You were so fast I didn't hear it.
I'm sorry about that. Correlation is a risk for something happening. Causation is a direct link.
Right.
Okay.
So just because something's correlated doesn't
I think
mean
he
it's
did some
gonna
drugs before he went into this case.
100%.
happen. Right.
I've seen that
Lung
before.
cancer, for instance. Smoking
No.
is very highly correlated with lung cancer, right?
Yeah, and there's certainly a link
Right.
to lung cancer and smoking.
Right. But not all smokers get lung cancer.
Not all smokers do. No one, like I said, no one fits the curve perfectly.
Right. And you've made repeated testimony to all of us. All of us do this. All of us do that.
Mm-hmm.
Your suggestion about all of us is you're just looking at the world as a sample and not at any particular individual, correct?
What I'm looking at is that I'm not talking about an
spit
individual,
on
how
myself
they
real
can or
quick.
cannot be resistant. What I'm saying is invariably, when you use substances, this is going to happen. Now, is there a 0.05% chance that someone who does? Absolutely there is. But is that medical degree of certainty? Absolutely not.
A 0.05% chance of what, sir?
Of eventually developing symptoms. If you're using excessively, eventually you're going to develop symptoms.
All right. But risk factors tell us nothing about any one particular individual, do they, sir?
No, again, risk factors tell us nothing except that if they have it, they're at a higher likelihood of developing it. That's
Right.
what it tells us.
But you did a whole litany of risk factors relative to IPV.
Yes.
Right. And none of those risk factors tell us anything specifically about an individual.
Other than they're at higher risk. Right.
Right.
I need some points. I need to watch my own stream.
So someone could have every single risk factor for IPV
I'm going
and
all
never
in.
commit IPV, right?
It would be, again, if you're going to say a medical degree of probability, the answer is they will. But if you're saying uniformly, the answer is no.
Right. IPV can occur without substance abuse.
Oh, sure.
Someone can abuse
This game is
substances
fucking rigged.
without ever perpetrating IPV.
Again, absolutely. But, again, you are saying different than what I said. I did not say abusing substances. I said substance use disorder. Those are two different things, because there are surely people who use substances that do not engage in any violence, do not become
Yo,
psychotic.
this guy is
nothing
lying out the teeth.
It's equally true of people who have substance abuse disorder. There are certainly people who have substance abuse disorder who don't commit IPV, correct?
They are saying people who have substance use disorders, the majority of them, over 50% do. So over 50% do. So that's medical.
The answer is yes.
As you said, not everyone who smokes gets lung cancer.
So there are significant numbers of people. You said it was over 50. So you'd say 40% of the people who have substance abuse disorder
This guy does not want to
don't
answer.
commit IPV.
And those are the ones that do not have IPV risk factors, though, right? So we're talking about people
Wait a
who
minute.
don't.
Isn't substance abuse disorder an IPV risk factor?
Oh, yeah. These are other people that don't have other risk factors, right?
Right. But again, we're talking about people in general. You don't know anything about any particular individual as to whether anybody's going to commit IPV.
If statistics follow through, all we can say is more than 50%, 70% will. If you combine more risk factors you have, the more likely you're going to develop the illness. If you smoke cigarettes once, that might not correlate to lung cancer. If you smoke it chronically, that might. So
Right,
that's
but
all I'm
we're
saying.
talking about individuals here. You either have lung cancer or you don't, right?
If you're smoking.
Right.
Right.
You either commit IPV or you didn't.
Oh, I mean, yeah, you either did or you didn't, yes.
Right. So you took some issue with me because I was asking about substance abuse generally, and you wanted me to talk about the
Hydrate that mouth, huh?
the disorder.
Hydrate that mouth, huh?
I asked you earlier about narcissistic personality disorder, and you haven't made that diagnosis. You've just talked about the traits, right?
Yes.
And somebody can have these narcissistic personality traits and substance abuse disorder and never commit IPV, right?
So, along that line,
Right.
about 80 to 90% of people who commit IPV have a personality disorder. So the answer is less than about 10% obviously do not.
There are more close links with IPV for borderline personality disorder than narcissistic personality disorder, correct, sir?
I'm not going to agree with that.
No?
I'm not saying there are more links. I would say to you there are absolute. If you're asking me if there are links, the answer is absolutely. If you're saying to me more, I can show studies say yes, so studies say that. That has not been absolutely definitively correlated. No.
No.
Absolutely not.
Yo, not one time Johnny Depp's team has said objection during this cross-examination.
MDMA. What is it?
Ecstasy.
Yeah. And what's the normal dosage of ecstasy for people who use ecstasy?
Again, I couldn't tell you the quote-unquote normal dose because, honestly speaking, no one knows what they're getting when they're using it, right? It's not regulated, so.
But the effects of ecstasy enhance sense of well-being?
At low doses, the answer is yes. I'm going to gather when you're using it at higher doses and develop tolerance, you develop the sympathomimetic effects, which are not so enhanced well-being.
Increased extroversion, that's a symptom?
Again, at low dose, you are 100% right. At low amounts, you are 100% right. It is an attack engine.
condoms,
We feel
kids.
closer to
Use
people. That's
condoms.
what people who use it say. They feel close to people, warmth to people, 100%. But
He said, where?
with continual use and higher doses, it could be fatal.
Right.
So that's not well-being. I don't know if I call that well-being.
So continued use at higher doses, MDMA can be fatal, correct?
Correct.
What if you took 8 to 10 tablets of MDMA?
What if you took again, you don't know what it's very hard to say that. You don't know what it's, what's the word I'm looking for? Contaminated with, okay? You can't just say, hey, let me just take 8 to 10 pure ecstasy and see what happens. That's not gonna happen. So what I would say to you, again, because substance abuse are unpredictable, they are not regulated.
Guys better
No
start
one
using
knows what
protection.
they're going to. No one absolutely has any idea whether it's going to cause this empathic and tactogen effect at very low doses, or is it going to cause the increase, it's like a stimulant, like cocaine and something we talked about like that. No one knows what's going to happen. It's not regulated. And no one knows if you're using with other substances either, like other stimulants.
Or if you mix it with alcohol?
Or mix it with alcohol. No one knows if it's going to be potentially worse.
Right. But this is a potentially lethal combination, 8 to 10 MDMA tablets and alcohol.
This is a potentially toxic combination.
Right.
Can it kill you? Yeah, I mean, it is a potentially toxic combination. That's true.
Ever heard of someone cutting off their own finger on MDMA?
Have I ever heard of it?
Yeah.
No, I can only give you one example.
Hadn't seen that one before. Okay. So, Seroquel. That one puts you to sleep, right?
If you want to phrase a barbiturate putting you to sleep, then the answer is yes.
Yeah, you heard Mr. Depp talking about sometimes being on the nod, right?
And again, I think I explained Seroquel very well this morning.
Good. I'm going to ask him a few more questions.
Oh, okay. Okay.
All right. You kept making references to street value. Why were you doing that?
Don't tease him
Because
about
that's why
it.
people
Don't
with
tease him
substance use
about
disorder
it,
use
please.
quetiapine and Seroquel.
Please don't tease him about it.
That's why people who use quetiapine or Seroquel can it sells on the street because it's so barbiturate-like in effect.
Right, but you said that Mr. Depp had a prescription.
There are many substance use disorder patients who have prescriptions for Adderall and quetiapine from their doctor, and that doesn't mean they're not getting high out of it. That doesn't take much. Doctors like to believe what patients have to say. They're not going to go in there being expert witness testimony. All I'm telling you is that in people who have substance use disorder, it is not uncommon, and the thought was initially that because quetiapine was not addicting, that it's safe to give in people with substance use disorders, when in fact, we absolutely know it has street value. We absolutely know that for a fact.
Yo, imagine this
Right,
guy.
my point about this
he
is
like
you made it.
he does a bump
bunch of
right in front of
testimony street
the
value.
jury.
But you knew at the time you made the testimony that Mr. Depp, in fact, had a prescription.
He also had a prescription for oxycodone and roxicodone. Does that count? Because that's also probably not a good thing. It's just because you have a prescription doesn't mean
I
that.
think Mr. Depp would agree with you it wasn't a good thing.
Just because you have a prescription doesn't mean you can't abuse it.
No, I'm not suggesting you're abusing it. I'm just wondering why your testimony was in any way tied to street value when every single drug you referenced, Mr. Depp had legally.
Again, you can have prescription substance abuse, and we know that, correct? No, I shouldn't be asking that. We can have prescription substance use disorders, and that's not uncommon if you look at the opiate epidemic that we're living in right now. We can have that. That's not.
Is this guy talking to himself?
Unfortunate, but uncommon. Not uncommon.
What the hell just happened?
Seroquel, I think you described as a sleeping agent when used off label.
When I saw what?
Sleeping agent, Seroquel, when used off label.
When used off label, it's used. It can be used sleeping agent. Yes.
Right. So, Mr. Depp's use of Seroquel could account for some of the photos we saw in this trial, where he's asleep in a chair.
Again, what I would say to you is that if you have a substance use disorder, you are using it to be knocked out. Yes, I agree, but I'm not sure at the end of the day if she'd have vomitus over you either, because I've never seen Seroquel do that. So when he was passed out in the chair, he also had vomitus over him. I've never seen Seroquel do that ever.
What?
Neurontin is another one of the drugs you testified about. That one's also prescribed, right?
Yes, it is.
And what's the prescription for that?
What's it used for? And what's its indication, or what's its used
What's its indication?
I mean, its indication.
He already knew. He already knew. He already knew. He looked at his mans. He was like, "Yeah, I know what he said. Vomit. We're gonna get him. We're gonna get him. Look at that face. Look at that face. Look at that face. That's a face of we got him."
For seizures, it may have one pain indication. Again, I'm not a neurologist, so I can't tell you exactly if it does, but it's chronically used off-label for pain. It's used off-label for anxiety.
Right. And what's its effect? That's another one that'll put you to sleep, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, sure, 100%.
Right.
Yeah.
And you made reference to a picture. There's been testimony around that picture that Mr. Depp fell asleep with ice cream in his hand. That's not vomitous, right?
I was told it was vomitous.
Okay. You talked about the fact that Mr. Depp indicates that from time to time he uses an earpiece.
I read that, yes.
Okay. Did you read the testimony of Mr. Wyatt, who told you what was being pumped into that earpiece?
Yeah, I mean, if I remember right, I mean, I think it was lines, right?
No, it was music.
It was music, not his lines?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if Mr. Depp was listening to music rather than being fed his lines, does that change your opinion as to his cognitive function?
If he was never fed his lines through the earpiece, which I know he was, but read he was, and that may have been that example, Mr. Wyatt may have said that it was music. I guess the question is, were you having the music during the actual
what kind of
talking with your
witness
lines?
is
that what you're
this,
saying to me?
bro?
Well, you know, if you can do two things at once, that's a pretty high cognitive function, isn't it, sir?
You know, it's a very good point, actually. Divided attention is something humans have a lot of trouble in. So, for instance, we have trouble driving and putting on using our cell phones and direct. So, divided attention, humans actually are not very good at. I'll put that out there.
But Mr.
In general, not just Mr. Depp, in general.
But Mr. Depp is pretty good at acting. You acknowledged that early on.
Absolutely. Well, better than me, so I know that.
Because you don't act. In fact, you don't know about acting.
You're right. I have no idea about acting.
And you don't know how prevalent the use of earpieces are in acting.
Again, I know nothing about acting.
He needs a drug test done on him.
Irrespective of the fact you know nothing about acting, you've testified that Mr. Depp's use of an earpiece is somehow a cognitive deficit?
So if I was giving a lecture and I was fed my lines, I would think there's a cognitive deficit. So and maybe I'm wrong.
I like what the lawyer did. If you paying attention to the one word that he was basing the whole trial on, cognitive, he's using that word to implement his mind of his way of thinking and actually making him talk the way he needs to talk.
Like I said, maybe I could be wrong. Maybe Hollywood stars get lines fed to them through earpieces all the time, and I don't know. That could be, it sounded to me to be unusual if you're doing a movie and you don't know the lines. But like you said, I'm just judging it on what I do with lectures, and that would never happen.
If you gave lectures, you wouldn't use an earpiece, but you're not going to tell anybody how to act.
My man, after this trial, you'll never do a lecture again.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
I said if you gave lectures, you wouldn't use an earpiece, but you're not telling anybody how to act.
Right, I would not use an earpiece during lectures.
Right.
But I don't know what the standard for standard as Hollywood is for that. I have no idea.
This man said he'll use a lecture, then he said he wouldn't use an
Your
earpiece?
testimony about the use of an earpiece as maybe you were wrong. You're comfortable with the fact that you may have made a mistake there?
No, because I think in the basis of what I've read about it, I'm comfortable that I don't believe that actors are routinely given their entire script through earpieces. I find that hard to believe.
Yeah,
But-
and
but-
there's not one whit of evidence that this ever happened here.
I guess what I said. I just said I find it hard to believe. I didn't say it. I said I find it hard to believe. That's all I said.
Oh, yeah, but what you found hard to believe, sir, was that every line of the script was pumped through an earpiece. Where did you ever get the idea that occurred?
That's what that's what I read in the court review, the court evidence. That's where I got it from.
Right. And you know whether Marlon Brando used an earpiece?
Isn't he dead?
Yeah.
So the answer is no, he does not use one now.
Oh, no, I used the past tense, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry. I
Yo,
know
what
nothing.
the
I will
fuck
concede
is
to you,
this
I know
guy?
nothing about acting. I will concede to you 100%. If that is the standard and people are done that acting, then I apologize and that was wrong on my part. If that's the standard, I'm wrong. I don't know.
Okay. Let's go with that. No further
All
questions.
right. How long is your return?
A bit. You may want to take.
All right, let's go ahead and break for lunch then, ladies and gentlemen. Again, do not do any outside research. Do not discuss your testimony with anybody, okay?
Bruh. Amber Heard brought this guy on? What is wrong with their team, bro? Even the lawyer's like, what the hell did I just witness?
All right. So let's come back at 1:55 then. All right? Is that fine? All right, thank you. 1:55.
All right.
Bruh. Oh my goodness. Bro, what did I just witness, bro? Yeah, we're gonna work on it. We're gonna work on it right now. Bro, what did I just witness? My man is woo out there. He is woo out there. That lawyer is terrible. I need to charge my phone. That was crazy. That was crazy. I'm like, what? That was crazy. That was nuts.
Use this time to
Alright.
train a bit. Deploying soon. Hostile dropping into the area. Watch the skies.
That was crazy. I see the potential. I see the potential. I'm not gonna lie, I do see the potential. Ooh. Ooh. I like that Nuba skin. That Nuba skin look alright.
Someone go and get that. Resurgence. The gas is closing on your position. Suggest you start running. Survive. Redeploy fallen teammates and earn points to return them faster. Targets are up. Take them out. Move to the target area. One man all day. Enemy UAV active.
Holy shit. Oh my god, I need shields. I got cooked. Man, we need a buy station.
Tagging armor.
And welcome to a very special For the Record, everybody. I'm Jesse Weber, live in Fairfax County, Virginia, outside of the Fairfax.
Enemy UAV. Enemy cluster strike.
I gotta hit this buy station.
Twisting aerial recall. Contract's complete and payments released. Figure I earn a cut, yeah? UAV beginning flyover. Friendly loadout drop on the way. Hostile dropping into the area. No target for airstrike.
This is Phoenix 3. Strike inbound.
You're losing ground. Move it.
Resupply.
Reinforcements are on the way.
Come on, why you guys gotta hit me, bro? What up, Doga? Oh, he's hacking. Bro, I was cooking, bro. That aim lock shit is annoying.
Resurging. Go get your revenge. Loadout drop headed your way. active. Get to the new safe zone. Gas is closing in.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Bruh!
Reinforcements are on the way.
I was out in the open. I need to lose some weight.
25 left. Keep moving forward. We lost that one.
Bear pig? Okay.
Hostile dropping into the area. Practice while you can. You'll be entering the field in a bit.
He's a YouTuber. I mean, you're gonna print that out, and when you see me, you're gonna want me to sign it, aren't you? What's this? Wait, what?
Hello?
Yeah, what up, Larry?
You be party leader. I was just inviting.
Okay. Hold on, hold on. Is it this one or that one? Why do I feel like this build is wrong? Yo, who's the person that gave me up on that? Who's the person that gave me up on that? I forgot who it was. Was it Dova or Migs? I think it was Migs. It's real, Jason. It's real. It's real. But I'm not ashamed of it. I can tell you that much. Oh, wow. You could do...
Practice while you can.
I just read something.
You'll be entering the field in a bit. Enemy soldiers nearby.
terrible up close.
Resurgence. Gas
What do you have, Larry? What's your game? What's your console?
Survive to redeploy fallen teammates and earn points to return them faster. Enemy soldiers nearby. Supply box located. Move to secure. Hunt the enemies before they hunt you. Enemy UAV active there. SAG. On target for airstrike. Objective found. Move to the next location. Got your request.
No, not on me.
UAV active. Loadout drop headed your way.
Wow. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. You're busy looking at me, bruh. Oh, this guy's camping. Oh no, they know you're there.
Setting rally point. You're back in the action. Objective update. Enemy UAV active. Enemy soldier nearby. Enemy UAV active.
You wanna beam me? You wanna beam me, bitch? You wanna beam me? In front of my friends? You wanna beam me, bitch?
Watch your heads. Dropping into the AO. We're engaged. 25 are left. Keep your eyes peeled.
UAV is out of fuel. Returning for resupply.
What are you fucking doing?
This gun sucks. This gun sucks. This gun sucks. Bruh. This gun sucks. Look at this. Oh my god, this gun sucks.
tired here.
I'm gonna try it again. I'm gonna try it again. But holy shit.
Resurging. Go get your revenge. One of your allies is back.
Oh shit. Come the fuck on. Where are you, bro?
I see him.
How you have a beam all the way like that?
Aren't done yet. Gas is inbound.
Oh, get a UAV, bro.
You're all here. Good.
Damn, I definitely locked on to him.
Double kill. Enemy soldier nearby. Frag grenade out.
They're on the move.
Gotta hit, bitch.
Gas is moving in. New safe zone highlighted. Reinforcements are on the way. Objective is to eliminate the bounty target. Strike. Fire station costs are incoming. Keep your senses sharp. An enemy dropping into the AO. Enemy UAV active. Next time.
Medium to long range, it's pretty good. Medium to long range, it's pretty good.
Alright, I'm back. Hello?
Yeah. Medium to long range is pretty good. Close range, terrible gun. Terrible gun.
Check weapons and gear. You got time before deployment.
Yo, your game sucks.
Training's over. Time to see what you've learned.
Your console sucks. Let me guess, you playing on an Xbox?
Yeah, I'm right here.
You playing on an Xbox?
Yeah, Xbox One S.
You got Xbox One or Xbox S?
Xbox One S.
I don't know the difference between all of them, to be honest. You guys got
So Xbox One X is black.
you guys got
Xbox
too
One
many
X is
console
white.
names. Xbox
Resurgence.
XYZ, Xbox 7S, Xbox 35S, SX. Right there. Right there, push.
And earn points to return them faster.
Damn, you sniping.
You guys are gonna leave, that's okay.
All targets in the area. Move to the target area.
I'm gonna leave with it.
You good, brother? You good? Pushing you?
I'm not good. I just fought 3 people.
Here.
Over here.
I got shield.
They push towards the main house. I was on the floor.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of people there.
I'm think it's window right there.
Shot is
Crack one shield. It's about to come up to it. Down.
Allied cluster strike arriving.
Whoa.
Enemy UAV active.
Behind. Coming back from
What the hell?
Pick this right side.
What is happening, bro?
Downstairs, I down one.
I'm coming.
On the kitchen.
There's 2 guys in the middle. 2 guys in the middle.
Reinforcements are on the way. Enemy UAV active.
Crack one.
So rifle
here
here
for
for guard last.
On top of the wall.
I'm circling from the right side. That side.
Advanced UAV overhead.
Middle right. I'm watching left.
He went back inside.
Down.
Got him. He's on top. Oh shit, no! I'm good. Just look out. Yeah. I gotta stop.
One shot.
Down him. I'm down him.
Ground.
Careful. They're pushing in now.
I'm okay.
I'm going for the loadout. Larry,
UAV is out of fuel. Returning.
from behind you.
Reinforcements are on the way. Enemy soldiers.
No!
I'm under fire.
There's so many guys here. Don't push.
Dude, I laid there with that. I didn't beat it. I'll do that.
End them.
Oh man, I'm getting clustered and everything right now. What is going on?
Oh! Pull over your push ass, Brody. There's a lot of fighting, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Bro, there's clusters everywhere, bro.
The Can we grab the loadout?
What? No, don't grab loadout. Don't grab loadout. Die, Larry, die. Oh, you got soft. Never mind.
I'm gonna lay right there.
I'm good for res. I'm good for res.
No.
Die.
Virgin kids, the name Big House.
Careful, push. They're down low with you. 2 seconds. Nice. Oh, Dex, what up, Dex?
An enemy team is
Crazy, bro.
Don't become prey.
It's not that it's crazy. That's how it is, bro.
To make a difference.
Oh my goodness. Oh my. No, he's a rat.
Into the AO.
Airstrike. Target's marked. This is Phoenix 3. Strike inbound.
25 over the AO. Reinforcements are on the way.
Under fire. Throwing out a grenade.
Cracked him one time.
I'm getting shot from the headquarters as well.
I cracked him.
He's sticking to you guys. If you outside, be careful.
No! Stop camping, you little bitches! There's one in the bathroom. There's 2 of them there somewhere.
Bro.
They're camping hard, bro. There's nothing you can do about it. They're
camping right
camping
there.
hard, bro.
You're back in the action.
Let me go. Keep them healthy, bro.
Something I can do, brother. Watch this.
Yo, push, you gotta fix your mic. This shit is going off the wall right now.
Gas is moving. Reinforcements are on the way.
We were talking about his sound and low on that. First floor bottom.
I've got movement.
Movement. Indicating waypoint.
Down right there, please.
Pushing in here with you.
Yeah,
Out of the game, you
we
bitch.
can't be fishing, bro.
Wait, where? Where you shooting? Where you shooting?
It's crap. I'm a tank. It's your teammates. Dude, I just killed. I'm gonna play. I'm with you.
I heard left side. Right here. There's another one on the left side too. Damn, no. Everybody's getting a corner or something. What up, Ed?
Can you hear me now or no?
Oh my god, I thought you almost lost that fight. I'm not gonna lie. I'm going back in that building where you are.
You've got another chance to make a difference. Squad member is redeployed.
Ah, god dang it.
Enemy UAV active.
I've got movement.
Enemy UAV active. Enemy UAV active. Enemy UAV active.
I know I can make this freaking jump.
Have a little fun.
Dang it! I can make that jump. I know I can.
Enemy advanced UAV open. Watch your six. Resurgence will be gone soon. Bounty target down. Move.
I need shield.
There's 2 on me. I killed him in 2 minutes. He's right there behind the first container, the one all the way to your left. If you're staring at it from right there, Ed. So they're about to do right now.
Come on, jump.
Enemy UAV active.
Found me. We're
I'm out of shields.
Reinforcements are on the way.
Larry, there's another one around here somewhere. Where?
Watch the skies.
Houses giving for me.
No, there was another one around here somewhere. Idiot. Somebody's sniping, I just don't know where.
We're coming back headquarters. Let's come headquarters.
Right here, right in front of me.
Towards that way.
They're cooked. One's cooked, that one's killed. Watch out behind you.
I got him. Keep it on me.
There's another one by there. Right to the left side somewhere. On my right side, on the right side. Wait, I'm out? Where is it? Back.
We got the ring.
There, I've got movement.
Is he going for the res, Larry? Larry, is he going for the res?
Nah, it's finished. It's only him.
Yeah, I see them.
Someone's on him.
Yeah, you getting shot. He pushed my whole different team.
Oh my god, get the fucking gun.
Enemy UAV active. You're in the top 5, but don't get comfortable. Enemy precision airstrike. Stay alert. Right on your tail. Keep your senses sharp. An enemy team is tracking your location.
Ouch. Oh shit. I'm at like 2 guys pushing right now.
Enemy dropping into the AO. Gas is moving in. New safe zone highlighted.
Oh, come on. Let me guess, he was camping in a corner somewhere? Yup.
Next time, the win is
That was the last one too,
Next time
man.
will be different. Return to base for debrief.
Get me out of here, please. I don't want to look at this.
Who's partying?
What a bed.
Me?
Oh, nice, dude. Your name
Hey,
is
am I
Larry.
partying?
I don't know if Ed is playing right now, is he? Playing right now?
Am I partying?
G. Oh, this got another hour and 50 minutes? Jeez Louise.
Holding for deployment. Take this time to ready up. Hostile dropping into the area. Watch the skies. weapons now.
To the wall or something.
Oh, you have a collab? Who you have a collab with? Me, my guy. No. Rock and roll, baby. Man, who put bullet holes in you? Jesus.
Contract. Got it. Resurgence. Gas is approaching your position.
His name is Nickelback?
Cash stock is
Oh,
inbound.
Nickelback. Oh, okay.
Cargo. Liv and your KIA teammates will redeploy. Any point worth enemy soldiers nearby. Supply box located. Move to secure. Primary objective to eliminate all enemies. Attack. Allied cluster strike arriving.
Almost got enough. I need filthies. Filthies bread. Let me get some bread, filthy. Oh shit. Whoa, whoa! How are you cooking me like that? There's a guy in tents, Larry.
Setting rally point.
There you go.
Right there. Tag him.
There's all inside our living quarters. Inside living quarters. I cracked him up top.
Bro, this bread is horrible.
Nice.
Reinforcements are on the way. Enemy UAV
I'm gonna land on
active.
roof. I'm gonna go through the hole.
Or not that loady. And I'm coming towards you guys.
I was right behind him.
Enemy UAV active.
No way. I cracked him.
Friendly!
Oh shit! Right here.
Bro, what?
Wow, where did he come from? Oh, he came from up top. Nice. From up top. Nice.
I ain't no game on it, bro.
Don't die. Oh, I just got the looter. Ah, don't die. He said with a female. You don't like Nickelback, bro? Top selling Christian artist of all time?
Check weapons and gear. You've got time before deployment. Training's over. Time to see what you've learned.
I love Nickelback. I like the way you touch it. Nah, my favorite band was Creed, man. Large as her.
Mark target location. Doesn't matter. Never mind. Mark target location.
Resurgence.
It's gonna
Set a drop point
change.
13, soldier. Let's move. Be advised, gas is closing in. Proceed to the safe zone. Armored truck deployment. Fear and your KIA teammates will redeploy. Any point worthy action. We'll shot them wherever there's reason most. Primary objective is to eliminate all enemies. Move to the target area. You don't have all day. Allied UAV overhead. Armored trucks arriving in the war zone. Keep an eye on the sky. Enemy UAV active.
What the fuck was that? Oh, you're so good. You got shitted on, kid. They both hit me up, bro.
Redeploying. Make it mean something.
Taking shots.
Take your eye on him, cut.
I'm back, bitch. You guys got enough to get a loadout. You guys haven't said one word with each other.
Someone got another chance to make a difference.
Now it's 3.4.
Supply box marked. Secure the goods.
Oh my god, you
Last
just
one
fucking like a
standing.
two-shotter. Really?
Survive until others redeploy.
Oh my lord, bro. That's some bully ass, man.
It's okay, bruh. It's
One
okay,
of your
bruh.
allies is back in the game. You've got gas moving in.
Waypoint.
Beep beep.
Objectives found. Move to the next
I want to
location.
give you some of that beep beep. Sage. Give you some of that beep beep. Give you some of that dooku.
Objectives found. Move to the next location. Enemy UAV active. Primary objective accomplished. Supply box is located.
Hey, Demon, let me get your money, Demon. Demon, let me get your money, Demon. There you go, Demon.
Enemy cluster strike. Watch your heads.
There you go, Demon.
Strong.
Uh-huh.
Waypoint.
Loadout drop heading forward. Enemy UAV active.
Yo, Larry. Get a UAV, bro. Get a UAV,
Ready,
Larry.
Allied UAV overhead. Loadout drop headed your way. You got gas inbound. Safe zone relocated. Time.
What? How did you know? How did you know, bro? How did you know?
25. Nearly there.
Respect it. I
Allied
respect it.
precision airstrike incoming. Be aware. You've got a second chance. Make it count. Clock ticking. Make your way to the target.
Nah, this
No. Yo, cook this guy.
There's a mover here.
Man.
One of your allies is back in the game.
La 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 la. It's like around the world, just la 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 la. That's what I'm talking about.
Gas is inbound. Contract complete.
UAV, buddy. UAV, buddy.
Allied UAV
Yes.
overhead. Hunt them
Nice.
Enemy maneuvering. Enemy dropping into the AO.
Yep.
Indicating waypoint. Allied.
Res me, please. I'm good for res. No, my team is not on me. Nice. Okay. Nice. I'm good for res, bro. I'm good for res. Please save me. You're the man, bro. Demon, I love you. You get me so excited. I can't hide it. I know. I want you.
Hostile dropping into the area. Watch the skies.
Yo, cook this man real quick.
We got gas inbound. Safe zone.
Whoa.
Shots over here.
I got him. I'm 41. It's coming, Gaber.
I'm jumping off the top rope.
Enemy UAV active. Resurgence is about to end. Keep your head on
They're
the
on top.
scoreboard.
Alright, nobody's with you, brother.
Prices are back to normal.
What the hell is this gun?
Continue to fight. Enemy team
Careful,
is
there's guys
tracking
up
your
here.
position. You're losing ground. Move it. Bounty target identified. Have a little fun, yeah? Rounds incoming.
Shit, these guys are running!
I'm up.
That's not even my gun.
Found some launcher rounds. Gas mask identified.
Enemy soldier nearby. No second chances. Resurgence has been closed. You got gas inbound. Safe zone relocated.
Eyes on shooter.
The last
Eyes
one
on
alive.
shooter.
Survive at all costs. You're in the top 10. Nice job.
I'm eyes on shooter.
Eyes on shooter.
Close enough.
He's on top of shooter.
You've got gas moving in. Target ID. Scanning whistle.
Yes, eyes on
Drop it into
shooter.
the AO.
Hey, what are you doing? In the air, in the air. Careful, careful.
Hostile fire. Don't worry, I'm here. You got gas inbound. Safe zone located.
Down low, careful. Watch it, watch it, watch it. Down low on the other side. Two of them. I just saw him.
Gas is moving.
What? What a fucking knife! Alright, go for the rest. Here. Don't lose this, man. Let's go. I don't like the bar. No matter what, I don't like the bar because it's too heavy. The mobility is very, very strictly. That's the reason why I don't like the bar. Yeah, Larry? What? Let's go, baby! The bar is way too heavy. I don't like it because it's heavy. The mobility is terrible. Let's go, Larry! Nobody said the bar was good. That bar is terrible. That bar is terrible, man. I'll never use the bar again.
William Knife Man.
You got a lucky knife. Good for you. Congratulations. Congratulations,
calm
bro.
the fuck down. I remember my first win.
I mean, that was not our first win. What are you talking about?
Easy. Oh, look at you.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Calm down. Shut up. Sit down, bitch. He said, look at you. Yeah, we won. We won. I'm saying, William Knife Man. You feel good about yourself? My man waited that whole time just to say William Knife Man. Really did. I stick by it, man. The bar is terrible. The bar is so bad.
HB, is your STG max?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. What are you giving me?
You should use it. Trust. It's so good.
Okay, so what's the attachments?
A muzzle, MX silencer.
Okay, got that on. Next.
And then the second barrel.
Oh, which one? The second barrel?
Yeah,
The 760?
The BD. Yeah.
Okay, next.
And then the SVT 40P scope 3/6X.
Wait, what? What scope?
It's the SVT/40PU scope 3/6X.
S what ST
It's VT/40 PE
Okay.
scope 3/
What about the
then
the freaking
last stock,
Yeah, the stock. What about the stock?
last one.
60 mag?
Then for the what?
The 60 mag?
Yeah, the first one.
Length and
Then length and then hand saw, polymer grip, acrobatic, and then fully loaded.
my Godzilla build. That's pretty much what it is. It feels like that, right, peoples? The car grip. It feels like that, right? I feel like that too. Like the car grip is like way better.
Use this time to train a bit. Deploying soon.
Oh, hell no. This guy super sus.
Enough training. Now you fight a real enemy.
HP, isn't the thing back already?
What happened?
Isn't the trial back already?
What?
The trial, the Amber Heard and
Oh, it's back?
Adaptive.
Oh shit.
I think, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Let me get this one game in. I'm about to get off actually. After this last game, I gotta get ready for work.
Rush to the safe zone. You've got gas closing in the bar. Live and your KIA teammates will redeploy. Any point-worthy action will return you to combat quicker.
Dude, he got the MP5.
Wow. There's too many fucking guys here, man. No.
GG's, man. Great.
Next time will be different.
Oh, he's hacking. He's hacking, of course. My man looked like he locked onto me. What the hell?
Were confidential, and I also signed a confidentiality agreement, so everything I looked at was confidential.
Okay, so that in fact does not even comport. That doesn't meet the restrictions.
Objection
that we put.
leading.
I mean, so would it be fair to say that you have not, or have you rendered any opinions in this case as an expert witness based on publicly available records?
I have not rendered any opinion based on any publicly available records.
Thank you. Now, you were asked a number of questions about narcissistic traits and your diagnosis or findings that Mr. Depp exhibited narcissistic traits or had that disorder. Do you recall that testimony?
Yes.
All right. And the question was asked of you of the whether if you have 5 of 9 narcissistic traits. Do you remember that testimony?
Yes.
Okay. Now, one of the ones you testified before was for narcissism, it requires admiration, correct?
Yes.
What, if any, record evidence was there that Mr. Depp requires admiration?
The very people.
Live today, not tomorrow. Thank you guys for joining me. Don't forget to like, don't forget to share, don't forget to turn up notifications so you know when I go live on all your devices. I love you guys. Peace. Be safe. And thank you for allowing me in your guys' lives. Later.